cameras.
I think we're live.
Welcome everybody. Jordan Isaka joined in the booth with Jeremy Edwards.
Going, guys.
We're coming fresh off of a Legacy Grand Prix that happened in the Seattle area. But we're back to bringing you guys more Legacy action. We've got a sweet show match today between none other than Miles Wallio and I guess the great caster Josh Monks. They're both going to be showing down three Legacy decks, playing a Conquest style. Each person has to win with each deck. Okay, yeah. And we're going to go ahead and do some. Oh, appreciate it. Thank you so much, Josh. We just got playlists, some deck lists as well. And the fighter stare down with the knuckles up like that. Wow, it's going to be awesome. And it's Echo City. Tipping on the mics might be a little too high. Interesting.
It's over here. It's just
Thank you. Great balance in there. Why don't we go ahead and just... And here's the two challengers. Josh Monks.
That's me. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
I don't know. The mic is kind of...
Questionable.
Oh, you did the wrong mics.
Oh, I did?
Oh, there we go. That's what you get when you let your heart win.
But yeah, we got our decks ready to go. I'm not missing any cards.
Yeah, we're finally good to go here. And why don't we go ahead and just do an interview? You want to go ahead and interview Miles or Josh? You want to do Miles?
Yeah, either way. Get in, guys. Okay, try.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and hop out, guys, and we'll be back after the interview, guys. 1 second.
All trying to squeeze into one little room.
All right. It's not that little.
It's not that little.
Oh.
Yeah, we gotta
Yeah, we're
close
gonna go ahead
this
and
just
close
in
the
case.
door in case there's some secret tech.
Secret
leaks
tech.
out.
All right.
You got the armadillo lamp.
So
True
it's the
armadillo cloak.
It's the soft box.
The soft box.
I'm too poor for.
You're right. It is a soft box. I didn't even notice the shade. Yeah. Well, Miles, you got to see your brother in here.
I did.
Now
and,
you're up.
And I'm terrified. Because what is it? I think I play, I guess, signature decks.
Okay.
But Josh does not. So, I don't know.
Josh has kind of played anything in the past for. He's sort of, I see him as a serial deck borrower.
Yes.
And so people will give him a deck that they think is good or that he requests, and then he'll jam it.
Yes. And he'll usually jam it very successfully. So.
Yeah.
So I'm terrified, but I don't know.
Well, you got the home field advantage, Miles. This is
So he knows what I'm gonna play.
You're-
He knows where we're playing.
so why don't you tell us what you brought tonight?
So today I have. I shouldn't show the list on. They might be watching.
It looks tribal so far.
So I have elves, goblins, and enchantress.
Oh man.
So
As a man of enchantress, that has to warm my heart.
I'm kind of, what is it? So I think elves was a giveaway for one of the decks I'm picking, which if it's bad, it fails to reanimator, show and tell lands, and super fast combo, which enchantress doesn't fall to. So that's kind of like
Sure.
you
want to line them up at the right decks versus the right predators.
Yeah. So, and then enchantress is a giveaway. So there's like check pile and some other stuff. So then goblins and elves takes care of check pile. So I'm hoping that I have like my little triangle and all of them are balanced.
Nice.
So
yeah, you definitely were bringing out goblins. A lot of your decks are all upgraded now to foil, right?
yes.
Or as close to foil as you've been able to get them.
Yeah, so I actually just foiled out the lands and enchantress today and
Oh my
foiled
goodness.
out the wild growths.
Wow.
I have the enchantresses and the enchantress presence. I think the only cards I'm missing that you can get in foil for the deck are Solitary Confinement and Sterling Grove, and potentially Rest in Peace. So
That is fancy.
5 cards are available in foil and not foil.
May the shine be with you tonight.
Oh wait, and Leylines, because Leylines are ridiculously expensive.
Yeah. That card is probably due for reprint next time.
But yeah. So what do you think Josh is
Well, I know some of what Josh is playing, but
You loaned him a deck.
some of them will be surprises.
Sides were chosen and mine was not.
All right. Let me Go ahead and grab Josh.
I'll
Have him do his portion, then we can get the battle started.
You can see through the back of my thing, so I'm just gonna cover it up.
I'll hang on to it here.
All right.
I'll fold it so there'll be no light leaking through. All right, we're getting the challenger, Josh Monks, in here.
I'm coming.
Let's bring
Michael Tessier is gonna do this interview.
Looks like it, yeah.
the competitor.
The competitor.
Are you
And
the challenger?
has appeared.
Are you the challenger or the champion?
Home field advantage, right?
Yeah.
So I guess I'm the rival. I feel like I'm the bad guy of the story. I'm pretty sure. I'm okay being the heel, though. You know what I mean? I think that it takes a certain type of personality to be the heel. And I don't think I'm quite standoffish enough, but I'll do my best. I promise I'll do my best.
Maybe you can like do something really salty or something.
Yeah, well, I
like...
just need to get really angry after every loss.
Yeah,
If we have like a music video that can play when I step in, that'd also be a good way to start that out.
Okay. Oh, go! That's Josh Monks' music.
Exactly, yeah. I need some Challenger Appears music. So we got Miles already sitting down there fiddling with the dice.
Okay, so how you feeling? Okay, tell me about what 3 decks did you choose?
Okay, so I've spent actually a lot of time thinking about this, and in this format, I feel like you either have to bring 2 Chalice decks or be prepared to beat 2 Chalice decks.
Whoa.
And I think it's a lot easier to bring 2 than it is to beat 2.
Okay.
So 2 of the decks that I brought are straight up Chalice decks. I have like a big white deck that's like somewhere in between Eldrazi and Death and Taxes, and then I have a Moonstoppy deck, and then my third one is like a check pile list.
Cool.
And so like kind of my idea here is I'm expecting Miles to bring... He's really well known for playing elves, enchantress, and goblins, and I think it's possible he brings those, but I think it's also possible he attacks me with something out of left field, and I think it's also possible he attacks me with Burn and Sneak and Show. So those are really the big decks on my radar. So my big white deck, which is honestly the deck that I'm most excited about.
8 Thalia?
6 Thalia.
6 Thalia,
So 4 Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, 2 Heretic Cathar. The big thing about that deck is the Eldrazi Displacer Containment Priest package.
Okay.
I have 4 main deck Containment Priest, and that gets so good versus Green Sun decks, like so good. And of course, Eldrazi Displacer, while you have a Containment Priest in play, is just 3 mana exile a dude.
Yeah.
Creature decks can't beat that. Like if you can stabilize with that board, it's so hard to come back. And of course, I'm a Chalice of the Void deck, and I'm a Thalia deck, so I have a lot of ways to attack the more unfair decks. Which is, I'm expecting Miles to be more likely to be bringing unfair explosive decks than long grindy control decks to try and beat me in the long game. So I've kind of tuned my list to beat that a little bit.
Okay, cool. No, go ahead.
Moving on to my Blood Moon deck. This is also I've got one little spicy piece of tech that I found a while ago, and I've just been sitting on it, waiting for an opportunity to unleash this on Miles. I'm actually going to be opening with my Moonstompy deck, so I'm really hoping to have this card be really impactful early on. But it's an Aether Flash.
Yeah. Ooh,
So
what a card.
4 mana enchantment, red, and 2. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, deal 2 damage to it. It is so punishing versus some of the creature decks.
Yeah, like how does elves ever beat that card?
Well, so like they can Reclamation Sage it, but if they don't have a Wirewood Symbiote in play already, they just lose their Reclamation Sage. And I mean, Moonstompy has a lot of targets to get Reclamation Sage, so it's a way to attrition them that they wouldn't really have an option otherwise. And if it comes down early, they just like can't cast creatures, like they just can't. And Abrupt Decay is like their main sideboard piece, doesn't hit it. Things like that are really important to consider.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. Aether Flash. Could see that on camera tonight. How are you feeling about this matchup? Miles mentioned, leading up to this, he was feeling a little nervous, and have you been feeling nervous about this? Getting on cam, playing
Not really.
for Pride?
I kind of like playing in the spotlight. I think it's really fun to be in feature matches, and I do whatever I can to get on camera. Just because I like having videos of myself playing. I think that's one of the best ways to improve, and there's not really a lot of options or opportunities for that, and so this is definitely one of them.
Right. Okay. Excellent.
Oh. Although I can't hear audio. Okay, so it sounds like there's no audio. That might be an issue. Please let us know.
Audio is fine. Okay, cool.
Thanks, NSEP Top. We appreciate it. This is always a new setup, so we're never sure. That being said, I feel like our match is pretty ready to go. Oh,
yeah.
So my check pile list, one of the big things about it is this is certainly rare for check pile, but I'm expecting that Burn's a pretty likely option here, and so I wanted to have kind of a matchup that was a little bit short up there. And one of the ways to do that is to cut an entire color from your deck. And so I've built a sideboarding strategy that's able to completely remove a red from my list. So I can fetch the double Swamp Island and then 1 drop and have access to all of my spells.
So just converting to a bug deck.
Yeah, converting straight up to a bug deck.
Okay.
Just to avoid cards like Price of Progress and Blood Moon, which I think
it.
is also going to be pretty critical if he ends up playing something that's a little grindier.
Cool. That'll be pretty interesting.
But yeah, I have all my decks here. I think I put them in the room already. I put them like right here, right before the interview started. but they're gone.
Okay.
So they must be back there. Oh well. I'm gonna head down there 'cause I
Awesome.
think the match is ready to go.
Josh, good luck to you.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
See you in the
Stay tuned, guys.
Thunderdome there.
The Thunderdome.
All right. Folks, thanks for tuning in. If you're just watching now, you are watching a live Seattle Showdown. We are going to bring you at least 3 matches of legacy action tonight. This is a rivalry match between Miles, Wallio, and Josh Monks. They've each brought 3 legacy decks to play tonight. And you have to win with each of the 3. That's the format. Conquest format is what we call it. And I'm going to turn up the audio a little bit there for you folks.
Thank you so much, Mike Tessier.
Hey, we've got in the booth here, besides Michael Tessier, we also have Mr. Jeremy Edwards, Seattle stalwart, longtime player. He's written for Star City Games like back in
You did
in the early 2000s.
If you want to read some comedy when Star City didn't have standards, that's definitely the era to look at.
Also, we've got Sneak and Show master Brian Bennett back here, who's lent out Sneak and Show each of our previous 2 Seattle Showdowns. The first between myself and Jordan, which Jordan won, and the second being between Michael Wallio and Dan Wynn, which Dan won. So let's send it right down to our match here, folks. We want to see what is going on down there.
All right. Now, one thing I do want to point out, and I don't think you guys got a chance to talk about each opposing deck, and I don't know if you guys can hear me in chat, but for everybody out there, Josh has actually metagamed extraordinarily hard for Miles.
Yeah.
Like, Miles is playing the comfort decks, the comfort picks. Josh is flexible and understands a lot of different metas. He understands how to attack different decks. He's ready. He's called all 3 decks that Miles could be playing, and actually, he has a sideboard card specifically to beat these matchups. He has Aether Flash in his deck.
I saw Aether Flash.
Aether Flash, if you don't know, is a 4-mana red 2 enchantment that when a creature comes into play, it deals 2 damage to that creature.
Yeah.
So, elves, goblins, I don't know. I don't know how those are going to do.
Yeah, Josh, in his interview, mentioned to us Aether Flash. He also said that in his check pile list, pretty interesting, he thought, okay, well, Miles might try to beat me on the weak mana base axis for check pile, so my sideboard strategy is to board into just being a straight bug deck. Removing red and just being straight bug in case he goes that route.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So Josh has 2 different levels of metagaming here, not just the first level, which is beating Miles' comfort decks, elves and goblins, but the second level is beating what Miles might bring to beat Josh. That's pretty deep, guys.
Yeah, and I certainly like that line. If you're bringing a deck to kind of counterpick your opponent, or if you're bringing an option that your deck can swap into to counterpick your opponent, that's always a great idea. He's thinking on level 3, and I think Miles is just on level 1. He's gone, I know these decks, I'm comfortable with them, I'm going to play them to the best of my abilities, and we'll have to see what happens here.
So
alternative view, Josh is like, let's be the fun police.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think Miles, he was expecting Josh to do this, but he also...
Yeah.
Miles was expecting Josh to do this with all the metagaming against Miles' decks, but Miles was just like, it's more fun to play what you know instead of trying to fun police people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because we have like Show and Tell and Black Red Reanimator and all these other things to go with.
All right, folks, we have a report from the match about which 2 decks our competitors are choosing for their first decks. It looks like we have Moon Stompy on Josh Monks' side.
Oh, wow.
And on Miles' side, he is playing Enchantress, one of his comfort decks. Now, Enchantress is a deck that, Jeremy, we're lucky to have you in the booth for, because you'll be able to tell us some of the lines here. Enchantress is a deck that uses, of course, and there we get a look at Josh Monks' hand. Lodestone Golem among them.
Traditionally, this is a very favorable matchup for Enchantress.
Okay.
Because you have so many basic lands, and Moon Stompy does not really pressure you in a meaningful way, nor can it get rid of solitary confinement, elephant grass.
Wow.
Just tricky permanents.
Yeah. So chalice on 1, not a big deal.
It can be if you're on the play
Okay.
because you want to get down wild growth and stuff like that.
They're both mulliganing.
But if you don't have that, then, or if, let's say there's a chalice that comes down on the draw, it's usually just not very effective because you're casting Argothian Enchantress, you're casting Green Sun Zenith.
And a new card for Moonstompy, of course, in the past year or so, Fiery Confluence. That can take care of both Enchantresses.
Can it destroy an enchantment? No, it can't.
Oh, no, excuse me. Yeah,
Argothian
sorry.
Enchantress,
Just the Argothian Enchantress, yeah.
Yeah.
Can sweep away Argothian Enchantress. Is that problematic, or...?
Non-targeted removal sweepers are usually a challenge.
Okay.
But as long as you're able to convert your cards into other cards first,
Yeah.
then it's fine if they sweeper you because it's only 1 turn off.
Got it. Okay, so this should be a pretty interesting matchup, folks. Something you don't get to see regularly. This is Josh Monks and Miles Wallio showing down. We've got Blood Moon Stompy against Enchantress. Here we go.
And I believe Miles was the first person to take a mulligan, so I believe he's on the play. He's a forest and right into a
Utopia Sprawl.
Sprawl.
Yeah.
You can see
that'll
the nice
be-
Dissension watermark there.
Probably white.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's an Ancient Tomb into a Chalice of the Void on 1 for Josh Monks.
Immediately applying pressure here.
And if we can see an Enchantress effect on turn 2 here, Jeremy, that could be a big game for Miles. Is that right?
That is a Dryad Arbor. And a Seal
of Primordium.
Wow, Seal of
Wow.
Primordium. And did you see the grin that Josh immediately displayed? He was just like, wow, this guy's got it early.
And
then
Snaring Bridge.
But...
Not going to do much.
Yeah, not my favorite card to have there. The one thing I will say is that Josh has got some sweet... Those are Portal. Oh, and the attack for 1. The Rubbins.
No
Josh
fear.
down
No
to
fear.
15. What's the win con for Enchantress decks these days, Jeremy?
I suspect Miles is still playing Helm, Rest in Peace.
Okay.
And so
And Snaring
he
Bridge
will
is
not
almost
be-
nothing.
yeah.
Chandra Torch of Defiance hitting the board for Josh Monks. This is a
Oh,
pretty
wow.
big card, and there's a minus taking
Minus
care of that
3.
Dryad Arbor.
Interesting. And we see a top deck from Miles. I'm not quite sure. He has the option to blow up the Chalice. And he doesn't really have... It doesn't look like he has an Enchantress effect, or he would have considered to deploy last turn. Oh, nice. They're going to go ahead and replace that with white. We appreciate that. A Sterling Grove enters the battlefield. Now, Jeremy, I want to go ahead and make a comment really quickly. The last time you and I faced off... well, I guess we faced off a number of times in the finals of tournaments. But specifically this one time, you and I were facing off for buys for the previous Seattle...
CTAC, GP CTAC.
GP CTAC, the trial for buys. And you were playing Enchantress, and I was playing Grixis Delver, and you blew me out with the specific card, Warship,
Yeah.
which you put on the stack when you were at 1 life, and I had an Eidolon of the Great Revel in play. I don't know if you specifically remember this. I'm sure you do.
Well, Eidolon put me,
I remember that.
Yeah,
down to
Eidolon
1.
put you down to 1. You played. I was thinking in my brain, wow, what could?
And
what
I-
could
Okay,
I
folks,
play?
take a look at Josh's face here. He was cheering, laughing,
Oh.
because he just deployed Aether Flash, and that is the card that he was just waiting to play. And it looks like he's excited that it hit the board.
You can see friend and confidant Jake McCune, somebody who I'm certain helped him brew these ideas, come up with these deck list ideas, and he's just kind of. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Can you put Aether Flash up? There's a little card, the card selector down here. We're gonna pull up Aether Flash for you guys really quickly.
There it is. Aether
Oh,
Flash. This
seven-
card is on the board.
7th edition uncommon, red 2. Just like we said, deals 2 damage to each creature as it comes into the battlefield.
So this will trigger for an Enchantress when it,
It
comes
will.
into play, right?
Yeah, Monks has the original Weatherlight edition.
All right.
Now, does it target?
It
does
doesn't
that mean?
target.
No
Oh,
target.
it just deals damage.
Cough of the
Cough
Hammer.
Of the hammer.
Big time play, and this is going to put a clock on for sure. Miles is at a healthy 18. What's he looking for here, Jeremy, to
Kinda,
stem the
Yeah,
tide?
he has 4 cards. He just went ahead and displayed 4 in hand. So he's able to attack underneath the bridge.
Miles would like to get his draw engine rolling. So if he's willing to sacrifice his Sterling Grove, he can tutor for an Enchantress's presence.
Okay.
Yeah, and it just looks like a difficult spot. He's going to take a natural draw.
Ooh, Elephant Grass off the top. He's also got Solitary and Confinement in hand.
Yeah, it's tough, though, because he gets constricted on mana if he goes for Grass, and he gets constricted on cards if he goes for Confinement, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he certainly doesn't get a ton of options here. He's going to go ahead and sack that Seal of Primordium and play Elephant Grass. Okay, it looks like he's going to try to buy some time here.
I'm actually surprised that he didn't convert his Sterling Grove into an Enchantress presence, because then all of his enchantments that he has in his hand, he can cantrip off of.
There's a plus from Chandra exiling. There goes a Koth. Yep. Yeah. And interestingly, there's no Blood Moon on the table, so that Sarah Sanctum is live to tap for 3.
Yeah, Sarah Sanctum can be a really big problem because Josh, of course, has no Wastelands, and having a land that produces so much mana so quickly can definitely get out of hand.
Mm-hmm. Josh swinging for 4. Miles all the way down to 8 now. That Koth with the Hammer putting on quite a clock.
Yeah, 4 turns, certainly nothing to scoff at. And Josh also has access to loads. Oh no, and a 3-ball hits the battlefield.
Follow-up Trinisphere. Big time play. That's going to put a hamper on any kind of churning through Miles' deck that he was hoping to do.
Unfortunately, now all of the enchantments, all of the 1-mana enchantments that he's going to use to build his Sarah Sanctum, they're all going to cost 2 additional mana. He's going to be in a tough spot here.
I did see him leaf by an Oblivion Ring. So that's a pretty generic, all-encompassing answer card that you can fetch.
So Miles now resolving his sacked Sterling Grove activation. Looking for any enchantment, it'll go on the top of his library.
Correct.
It will. I'm a little surprised, judging from Miles' hand, that he kept, but he was on either a Mold of 6 or a Mold of 5. So
yeah, I think he was on a Mold of 6. So, and maybe he was just trying to figure out if he could get some time here. But, I mean, obviously, Josh has had a really aggressive start. I mean, Koth the Hammer on turn 4 is going to start putting the hurt on.
Right, yeah. Without that Koth, Miles would still have a lot of time here. And that's the thing about the Moonstompy deck is that the clocks are... You draw them so infrequently. Mm-hmm. Chandra Torch of Defiance is a threat, but it takes a long time.
Right.
Koth of the Hammer or Goblin Rabble Master, you draw them so infrequently, there's only 2 to 4 of them in your deck. And here is Oblivion Ring, which Miles has chosen off of his Sterling Grove activation. That'll go on top of the library.
And another thing to note
What
is...
version is that?
That's...
F&M version.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing to note is that Josh hasn't gotten a chance to ultimate his Koth either, so it is sitting out there exposed to permanent removal. He's going to go ahead and pay for that Elephant Grass, but I'm not quite sure why he did that, as there's no more creatures that are going to be attacking him once his Koth leaves the battlefield. And you've noticed that one of the other Koths is in the exile zone from Chandra, so, based off of the total number of their threat density, they're not going to have access to any more Koth Hammers.
Right.
Well, typically, but since it's a showdown, for all Miles knows, there's like 4 Koths in this deck.
Possibly, certainly.
Oh, and another Chandra.
Wow.
That's going to shorten the clock. This is going to be able to tick up again. Miles all the way down to 4. Just 2 turns left with this Chandra Torch of Defiance.
Actually,
Josh has a choice with the Sorcerer's Spyglass revealed.
yeah, I'm not exactly sure what his thought process is here, because, I mean, he can turn off cards like Sterling Grove, but he can't turn off... he can't turn off like Sarah Sanctum or any mana producing lands. So yeah, he's gonna go ahead and just bin it.
Right. He could turn off Helm of Obedience
Oh no,
if he knew.
he couldn't. Yeah, Trinisphere could have gotten that.
Oh,
he
right,
could
yeah.
turn off Helm. That's certainly true.
Yeah. I think Helm would have been a good name, but you can't put Miles on having that version
I
specifically.
don't know why he's paying here. There's no creatures in play.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
And nothing really hasty either.
Yeah, sacked 3.
Okay, Miles down to 3. Still a 2-turn clock for Josh on plussing Chandra Torch of Defiance. What's his way out of this? How can he get... Does he have to get rid of this Chandra, or can he gain life somehow?
Yeah, he's probably going to need the combo to get out of this, unless he has more Oblivion Rings. You get that list? Let's see if Miles has... Miles has a cast out. Okay.
And that is, of course...
That's a Doomwake Giant.
Doomwake Giant, yeah.
And that can certainly threaten, but it's only a 4/6.
Well, 4/6 survives Aether Flash pretty nicely.
Yeah, it certainly does.
So, what are your thoughts on including Doomwake in Enchantress?
It's
Plusing
okay.
a Chandra,
Oh, that's
playing a
another
Chandra.
Chandra.
This is going to be it.
Ooh.
Miles is packing it up. 2 Chandra activations across 4 Chandra activations across 2 turns is going to do it. Josh Monks takes the first game of the Seattle Showdown between Miles and Monks.
Yes, sir. And that was a pretty spectacular game. We saw how Aether Flash was impacting the board and cutting off a lot of the draw engines that Miles potentially had access to. We're now seeing Josh is going to go ahead and board in. Maybe he'll do a swap. Does he have any interesting tech in his sideboard? We're going to Josh right now. Looks like he has more copies of Sorcerer's Spyglass, Sphere of Resistance, Torpor Orb, Action Rider, so probably not those cards, but he has Pyrostatic Pillar.
Wow, that's a really devastating card if he can get that down early.
Yeah, I like Sphere of Resistance. Is that not impactful enough in this?
It's okay, but the way to really crush Enchantress is definitely with an Eidolon style effect.
And then when you do that, your opponent plays Worship.
Well,
and then you just get absolutely bodied.
Miles does in fact have 1 copy
2
of
spheres,
Worship
2
in
Pyrostatic
his
Pillars,
75.
and 1 Kozilek's Return are coming in for Josh Monks. Just showed us that.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting about Cause, but
So he must be really concerned about Enchantress herself, right?
On Miles' side, he has Reclamation Sage that will certainly be coming in. He will also probably be bringing in Gaddock Teague, because a lot of Miles's cards, or a lot of Josh's cards, will be costing 4 mana. All of his planeswalkers get shut off by Gaddock Teague.
in his boards, besides Cause Return.
Big time.
Gaddock Teague could be huge.
That's why Josh is bringing in the cause return.
Yeah.
Do you think he expects Gaddock Teague?
I don't know. I don't know if he is. It's kind of a.
I think he's just bringing it in to hit the Enchantresses because it's non-targeted removal. Any sort
It's
of
like
sweeper is good.
5 moon effects coming out along with another card. Not sure what it was.
Now Josh has got a lot of mismatched cards. Give me your opinion on the fact that Josh is just going with the extravaganza bonanza of card types here.
I couldn't care less.
Really?
I don't care.
You're a guy who likes his shiny foils and his inventions.
Me personally, I love classing it up. I use beta bolts, you know.
Ooh.
I use beta bolts. I've got foils though, but I choose the beta bolts. Yeah.
The Judge Foil?
Yeah, but I choose beta bolt. Yeah, yeah.
the same art.
But it's not beta.
But it's the same.
Something
it's
about-
basically
yeah.
the same.
I've
At
got-
least it doesn't have the shitty new border.
I've got an alpha
Got the nice old
disenchant.
borders.
True.
I love using my alpha disenchant. But I really don't care. As long as people are playing Magic, I don't care what cards they choose.
True.
It's
See,
my
my
own
take-
personal thing.
My take is you want to play the mismatched. Because if you're playing against opponents that don't care, no advantage. If you're playing against opponents that do care, slight advantage.
You should play with white
So
borders.
there's no.
Try that.
Ooh.
People really don't like those white borders.
Ooh.
Yeah, do you think you get any percentage points from playing white borders, Jordan?
I think I get a shock factor on the turn that they finally notice what's going on.
Yeah.
They'll take their brain will take a moment to consider what's happening to them.
And that's
And then they'll-
valuable.
Yeah, then they'll keep on playing.
A few people are just totally tilted, and then you gain equity on them.
Yeah, just those people. But aside from that, it's not too big of a deal. At this point, in playing in Seattle, all of the grinders know what deck I'm on. They all know.
Everyone knows. No one's surprised
It's
anymore.
it's not a surprise.
Yeah.
So you should start throwing one of black borders back in your deck. Bob rotated out.
What I really thought about was picking up a Sharpie and blackboarding my duels.
No.
That's really what I thought about doing.
Our players are going to game 2. Josh Monks, Miles Wallio. Miles will be on the play, having lost game 1. Made some good adjustments from both sides. Gaddock Teague, a huge swing card for Miles out of the sideboard. Let's see if he can get any traction here in game 2. Looks like a Helm, an Enchantress, a Sprawl.
Yeah, it looks like he's
In
a good
hand.
start. A good start.
Did they say if the worship came in?
Man, if that worship comes in, I'm gonna be just insta triggered. If he plays worship, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Oh, Worship has come in, folks. An
Wow.
Invocation Worship.
Oh, that's the best one.
Oh, I don't even know what that looks like. I'm sure it looks cool though.
Sick.
Also have a strong card, Aura of Silence.
Yes.
That's gonna tax Josh's artifacts
Oh,
and enchantments. An additional 2 to cast, and then it just sits there, and Miles can cash it at any time for a disenchant effect.
Yeah,
Right.
really, really powerful card.
I love that card. Looks like a Doomwake Giant also came in for Miles, and perhaps he's thinking he needs to take care of Goblin Rabblemaster tokens.
Or it survives the 3
Aether
damage.
Flash? Yeah, he's just gonna get
That
this
may be
stomp
the
on,
only
maybe.
reason.
Or it's just the biggest creature that can live.
It's
Yeah, he's
also
getting his
just a
stomp on.
way to attack
Oh,
Josh
sick.
down. Josh took a lot of incidental damage in game 1 off his Ancient Tomb, and can also pressure Planeswalkers.
Green Sun Zenith in hand for Miles, along with that Utopia Sprawl, could mean a turn 2 Gaddock Teeg.
Oh, that would be backbreaking. That would be all sorts of pain.
Josh has the Pyrostatic Pillar in hand.
Double pillar for Josh, along with an Ancient Tomb, a Chalice, a Bridge, and a Hazoret. But no red source for those pillars yet. Grind to the bottom.
Pyrostatic Pillar, of course, a really powerful card. I mean, 2 damage. 2 damage every time you cast a spell is just absolutely devastating. And for a deck like Enchantress that just casts so many spells.
Miles with the Utopia Sprawl. Josh Monk's following up with that Chalice of the Void. But here is a turn to Argo the Enchantress and Elephant
Gonna get
Grass.
rolling.
Going to get countered,
Yeah.
but will still give Miles the draw.
And that's exactly what he wants. He just wants to go ahead and cycle in and cash in those Elephant Grasses there, I believe.
Miles found a Sterling Grove. Nice draw. And there's a
Rocks.
red source for Josh Monks. Here comes a Pyrostatic Pillar.
And he pitched one of his other pillars too. I have to believe that if he just went ahead and played out both pillars, I mean, that's 4 damage every spell you cast.
Right, yeah. Josh had the option of pitching a Hazoret instead and having 2 pillars in play.
It'd been crazy. So much damage.
I'd much rather have 2 pillars than a pillar and a Hazoret, for sure.
Although, I mean, the Hazoret does attack, I guess. I guess that's Josh's idea, is he wanted a reliable clock. But I
Right.
do think that 4 damage, especially if Miles is going to try to start drawing and going through some parts of his deck.
Right.
Oh, wow. And a Helm of Obedience.
I think Miles with this Sterling Grove in hand
Right.
can actually just go for the combo.
Sterling Grove is going to go ahead and take 2. And yes, sir, it does look like that. He has a Serra Sanctum as well.
So for folks at home that aren't familiar with the combo is Rest in Peace with the card Helm of Obedience. And when you activate Helm of Obedience, it says mill until you hit a creature, your opponent's deck until you hit a creature, and until a creature goes to the graveyard, excuse me. And of course, no creature will ever go to the graveyard with Rest in Peace in hand, so you just keep milling your opponent until they have no cards left in their deck.
So it looked like Miles intentionally didn't make his land drop. It's probably what?
There's that Hazoret from Josh's hand.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why he was saving that, or he was kind of sandbagging that play there, but I think he's going to go ahead and get this Rest in Peace here, and then just try to go as fast as humanly possible.
Maybe he was thinking that he wants Josh to not see that he has that in hand, so
Yeah, possibly.
so Josh isn't thinking that he's on a 2-turn clock.
Yeah, draw this
Right.
Rest in Peace.
Okay, and this is
Josh
going to
with
do
the
it, right?
Blood Moon, then Josh would just jam
He'd
the Blood
prioritize
Moon
the
to
Blood
turn
Moon.
it off.
Yeah.
So maybe
I
that's
see.
the logic.
Okay, and here comes the Rest in Peace. Take
Rip
2.
Trigger, take 2. 16.
Miles says, don't care.
Draw a card.
So graveyards get exiled.
Okay, so this will produce 3 with the Serra Sanctum and have 4 mana total.
2.
2, yeah, 2
2,
plus
excuse
1.
me, yeah. So just 3 mana here.
This is
This
for
could
3.
be
Sun for
Green
2.
Sun.
Okay, interesting. I'm not quite sure why, but he might just be going for Teague to stem the bleeding. I mean,
some Gaddock protection.
yeah, he just won't take 4 in this spot.
It's going to be another Enchantress.
Interesting. I kind of like Gaddock
Pass
Teague there.
back. Yeah.
Specifically, so you can't take 4 from. Or he's gonna go ahead and activate his Has here, discarding Bridge. If I'm Josh, I'm just thinking like, oh boy, oh
Yeah.
boy. You've seen the writing on the wall. At this point.
All right, well,
oh,
that
and
was
the
just the
block. Oh, he's
blocker.
going for a block.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
2.
Save himself 5 life there.
Yeah,
Miles
untap
down
draw.
to 12.
I think it's time to drop the base cannon.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Helm of
All right.
Obedience. Josh Monk scoops it up. Miles Wallio is going to take game 2. We're going to game 3, folks. In this, our first round of the Seattle Showdown between Miles and Monks. Both our players pretty happy.
Yeah.
They're laughing. I mean, we laughed a little bit,
Oh yeah,
but they're laughing a lot more than we were.
man. When you blew me up with that top deck, with that 6-outer, we laughed a lot.
What was the?
It was top deck Lord of Atlantis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
And
needed any lord.
I was about to stabilize versus Double True Name. I just couldn't handle that game. I just had to leave
That was so
and run around.
you folks at home, you didn't hear us singing. We were singing a lot.
Oh yeah, that's true. You were singing a lot. You were Celine Dion.
I mean, first of all,
Yeah,
big Celine Dion fan,
Oh yeah, she's great.
personally.
Yeah.
Secondly, I sing a lot in
Yeah,
general
you're-
in
you're-
life.
Yeah, you're just a great karaoke voice.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
no,
appreciate
totally.
that, folks. And we should have a karaoke stream sometime.
We should sing "Take on Me." That was.
Yeah,
It's a good song.
aha song.
It's my bad.
It's a hard song to sing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
You have to go like really low and then really high.
Yeah, it's that's not easy.
Can you do a falsetto? Can you do that?
Yeah, of course. We
Well,
can
I mean,
all
no,
do
no, no, no.
falsetto.
Can you do a good one? Can you do a good one?
Give us a sample.
No samples, folks.
Yeah, no sample. Especially
No
like, you
free
can't
sample.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah.
You got to pay for
This
the
isn't-
whole
this
entree.
Isn't Costco. Yeah, this isn't Costco here, boys. This ain't Costco. We're talking about real life stuff.
All right. Is Miles on Enchantress again? The question from chat. Indeed, Miles is on Enchantress. You're tuned in to a Seattle Showdown. This is a 1v1 match, Conquest style. And what happens is each of our competitors in the Thunderdome have chosen 3 decks. They have to win with each of their 3 decks over the course of the evening. So we could see up to 5 matches tonight. And at least 3. Moon Stompy is in Josh Monks' corner for this first match, and Miles has chosen Enchantress for this first match. We're tied at 1-1. We're going to game 3, folks.
That's right.
Now, if you're Josh, you're thinking like, wow, I bullseyed one of his decks. I know exactly what he's playing. You're feeling pretty good. He has some nice tech to beat all 3 of the decks. He has some nice tech that's wrapped up into this Moon Stompy deck to beat all 3 of the other decks that Miles has brought. But the question is, if Josh is able to win with is Josh able to win with all of his other decks versus Enchantress? I mean, Enchantress attacks such a funky and weird angle.
Right.
Is Josh gonna be able to maybe pin Miles on this one deck, or is he gonna have to play against elves and goblins in later rounds?
Right, yeah. So we're really the issue for Miles, I think, the choke point for Miles is elves. Can he win with elves against one of Josh's 3 decks? And
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's possible. Check pile, maybe?
Yeah,
Maybe?
I think Elves has a favorable check pile matchup.
Yeah. But certainly for the other 2, very hard.
Yeah, and certainly Josh Monks has selected correctly. But that being said, Miles being on his comfort decks just knows the matchups and knows how to squeak out wins when he's in a tough spot.
Our players are going to game 3 in this, our first round. Take a look at their opening hands here.
Ooh, it looks like a 3-ball, a Simian Spirit Guide, a couple of 3-balls for Josh.
So turn 1 Trinisphere is possible with 2 Spirit Guides and a Mountain in hand.
This is a scary hand
gonna be
that
Chalice on 1.
Miles has, because it looks like he's heavy on non-basics, and if he gets mooned, it could be a pretty quick game.
I think Josh actually sided out
most of his moon effects.
Which is going to be kind of interesting in this spot. But it looks like Josh does not have a second land. That Chalice the Void, only the card in play, plus that mountain.
Oh boy.
And if you're
he
Josh,
drew another Trinisphere instead.
Oh man, that's not going to help him out at all. And now here comes... Ooh, is that a tomb?
It's an Aether Flash.
Aether Flash, and there's already... Now, if I'm Josh, I'm just thinking, geez, I kept this hand?
Okay, here's a turn 3 Zenith.
Zenith for 1.
This will still probably get Dryad Arbor.
Exactly. I want to see the attack.
He
ramp. Has to bring the thunder.
So Josh really stuck on mana here, choked on mana. He went for that turn 1 Chalice, but I think he needed to prioritize the turn 1 Trinisphere.
Yeah, if he could get it, potentially. I think the other issue is that, there's another mountain fresh off the top.
Oh, boy.
And he thought that Aether Flash was
it was his Spirit Guide.
Spirit Guide.
He does have Spirit Guide in hand. So he could go for the 3-ball, but he's also thinking about K returning and getting just pure value. And that's what it's going to be.
Yeah,
Kozilek's return
for 2. That seems pretty spicy right there. No card drawn off of that Enchantress. And I think Miles drew a Ooh, that's a tough looking Sanctum right there.
Boy, and Pyrostatic Pillar.
Pillar coming down.
The nails are going straight into the wood.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially because, Miles is playing deck with forests. Forests are made out of wood.
There'll be some damage for monks.
Yeah. Wow, Chalice the Void. Man, all those mismatches.
Since
Chalice
Pyrostatic
X2.
Pillar is symmetrical, so
Yeah.
monks should be at 18 now.
Yeah. Maybe we'll go ahead and message down to our spotters. A little bit of a draw and discard. A little flubbing. You know what's kind of interesting about these two decks is when you are in a tough spot. Oh, and a Chromox coming down. He's going to go ahead and trigger this. Oh, and a 3-bolt. Well, that's not so bad, actually. That's not so
that'll
bad.
be... So monk should be at 14 now,
Yeah.
because he takes another...
Yeah. He got it. We got it.
He should be at 14, because he took it off the Chromox, too.
Yeah, Chromox 3-ball. Oh, and a Rex Sage coming down, disrupting and blowing up. Wow, and another 3-ball. And Josh has got a lot of protection, but these spells are going to resolve eventually. And Miles can still attack. I mean, this Rex Sage is going to do some damage, especially after Josh took all that damage from that Pyrostatic Pillar. Green Sun for 2. Uh-oh, I think it's Teague. It's Teague. And this is going to shut down all the sweepers, all the planeswalkers. It's not Teague. I think it should have been.
Sargathi Enchantress.
It
Yeah.
should have been Teague there.
Really needed to be Teak.
It would have been a really sweet shutout, I think.
4 mana, Fiery Confluence.
And if it was
Oh
Teague,
my
if it was
goodness.
Teague, he would have taken care of it. But the Confluence off the top for Josh is just sickeningly powerful.
Unreal.
Oh my goodness.
Miles brought the Gaddock Teagues in. He knew that it's in his deck.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just go for Teague and you're on a beatdown plan. As weird as that sounds.
And what else does Josh even have at that point? Hazard?
He played his 1 cause return. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh my
I
goodness.
think that was a huge misstep on... I guess he was trying to get his spells rolling or something. Trying to get a few draw triggers. The other issue is that there's double up Chalice, there's double up
Okay.
Trinispheres.
Enchantress's presence for Miles, and now he can get something rolling.
Josh,
There's a
looking to
Sterling
draw-
Grove in hand.
On a Chalice
Chalice
for 2.
Oh no.
That is just so insane.
Oh no.
Actually, Chalice at 2 isn't that scary. Chalice at 3 is the scary one.
I
Okay.
see.
Because then you can't Oblivion Ring, or is that what you're looking for?
That makes a lot of sense. Oh wow, and he has an Oblivion Ring in hand, but he looks like he's gonna go ahead and save it. Draw trigger off the first Enchantress.
Look at those foil Enchantress presents.
It's really awesome.
Nice.
No threat for Josh Monks just yet.
This is a really good spot for Miles, because once his cards start drawing him 2 cards each, he can start flooding the board with permanents, and then his Sarah Sanctums become extremely powerful.
Yeah.
Right.
And in this spot, since he also has Solitary Confinement, he doesn't really have to worry about dying to things in the traditional way. And that's
there's a
worship.
worship. Worship just hit the board.
Josh immediately just scratched his nose like, oh, I might be in deep trouble here.
Now a Resolve Gaddock Teague is an actual no-outer for Josh.
Yeah, I think so. I don't even know if Josh has an out to that. Oh yeah, he has to wipe the board. He has to kill creatures. He has to kill the creatures, I guess. I don't even know if Red has an answer. Do they play Aftershock?
No, if he has only 1...
Wow.
Okay,
Man,
well,
that's a
Chandra on
Chandra.
board now will change the math, because
But he
that
has
can
the
minus.
worship. He has the creature. I mean, if he has does Josh
Doom like
Aftershock? I think Aftershock blows up enchantments, artifacts, and creatures. No, it doesn't. Red can't blow up enchantments. Otherwise, you would be playing it. You can blow up the creatures though. Yeah, Gaddock Teague would actually lock this out, and it would just be a hard lock.
Well, not anymore. Chandra's on the board now. She can minus on that Gaddock Teague.
Oh, correct.
And there...
Discard.
That was just cycling a
Yes,
wild
that's for
growth.
3. Okay.
through the Chalice.
Lots of cards here for Miles.
Can you go ahead
Double
and
Enchantress
play?
Presence. Utopia Sprawl is going to draw 2 again.
This is just making sure that Miles can't brick, and he'll have more fuel for his solitary confinement.
Got it.
Yeah.
Does Chandra's
Insane.
damage target, or is it all opponents?
Pyrostatic Pillar.
Good question.
Exiled with Chandra and...
Another 3-ball. Not good in 3s, not good in 2s, only good in 1s. Trinisphere. That's the name of the game, but Josh has drawn all of them. And a
Doomwake Giant.
That is an attacking creature. And that's all opposing creatures, right? Not
all
everything.
opposing.
Yeah.
Yep.
If that was everybody, it would just slowly kill itself, I suppose. But 3 mana right here.
It's another
Oblivion-
solitary confinement.
Another solitary. So he's just going to go ahead and just keep the train rolling. I think at this point he can go ahead and lose one of them.
That invocation on the board's worship, folks.
Yeah, that invocation. Oof.
As long as he keeps
Spicy
Duake
one.
alive, Chandra can't kill him.
Yeah, that's true. Wow, just an insane position to be in if you're Josh. You're totally prisoning your opponent out, but I mean Miles is slowly just churning the legs, and almost in a position to get there.
So Chandra can ult next turn, but not going to get through those solitary confinements.
Ooh, hard cast the spirit.
So-
guide.
Yeah, the spirit guide coming in. Josh giving the spirit finger action.
So Miles should just be able to clear this spirit guide out of the way with his minus ability of the Doomwake Giant.
Right, just
Yeah.
2 enchantment casts will take out that spirit guide. Is Miles
This is for
giving
a
up on the Rip Helm plan here, just going for a Doomwake kill?
Well, there's a Chalice on 2, so you can't play the Rest in Peace unless Josh overlooks his Chalice. Ooh, a second
Doomwake Giant.
Oh, wow. And
That's
both the
2 triggers
firing.
immediately.
Kelvin Wallace just leaned over and he's like, I don't even know what these cards do. these were printed before I was born.
Aura of Silence.
Aura of Silence, just, wow, just an insane draw position right here. I think he's going to go ahead and swing with his Giant, I want to believe.
Yeah.
But wow, just steadily just cutting through the disruption that Josh has put up in front of him.
What an interesting matchup. You know, we were kind of speculating on how this would play out to begin
Yeah.
with, but if we spent 20 minutes talking about it on paper, I don't think we'd come to this conclusion that it would play out like this.
Yeah, I don't think so at all. It's a really interesting spot to be in if you're Miles, and if you're Josh, you're thinking, wow, you know, it's unfortunate that he had such big problems early on with his mana.
All right,
Yeah.
here's the Rest in Peace
Oh, yes. Okay.
because he took out the 2 Chalice. So
Yeah. Chalice on 2
graveyards get
graveyards.
exiled, and now Miles is set up to close the door with a Helm, which he either
has in hand
or is drawing to.
And Miles' expertise with this deck is really showing itself.
Yeah.
He knew exactly how to work out of all these positions. He knew that to prioritize a double Enchantress effect, which is probably why he went for it instead of Teague early on. And that double Enchantress effect with the solitary confinement just completely locked Josh out of the game. Sorcerer's Spyglass, not going to do much.
Well, that'll try to turn off the Helm, I
Yeah.
suspect.
Helm of Obedience, or potentially he gets to look at his opponent's hand.
But
or Strong Grove,
Miles,
potentially.
at this point, Miles can just beat down with the
Giants.
double Giants.
Yeah.
I mean, 4/6s, nothing to scoff at.
Double Doom.
Yeah, absolutely.
4/6, what a I wish 4/6s were more common in Legacy.
Yeah.
That'd be a great size.
That feels
Absolutely.
like a throwback to Revise, where you got Earth Elemental and stuff.
Oh yeah, what was the card? Obsidian or Granite Golem? Or
Obsidian Golem,
was a
yeah.
4/6? Yeah, pretty insane. It's like the reverse Crawlworm.
It is.
It's so good.
4/6 is a great body.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
All right, so
Oh.
that's the
He's named Windswept
Interesting.
Teeth. Okay.
I think he just
Oh,
realized that
okay.
he's dead. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Naming Helm with the Sorcerer's Spyglass. We'll continue this game here.
Monk's looking a little sheepish.
Yeah, he's not quite. I mean, at this point, he's thinking, "Wow, you know, like he had a really good opener. He had a Chalice on 1, and he had Aether Flash in hand, and all these other great cards. But just Miles able to get down underneath, and I think he's gonna go ahead and go to BattleBots here.
Josh would just have so much to eat through to win this game.
Yeah, just the Warship and the confinements, and there's so many issues. I think. I mean, the place where we would have to start at is just the interaction between red decks and enchantments is just not good.
Right. I actually think that Josh is on a no-outer here.
Yeah, if he had maybe Chaos Warp. is
Yeah,
his only
Chaos
option.
Warp or Ratchet Bomb.
Yeah.
Only 2 things.
Yeah. And those are just cards that are unrealistic to have in this position.
So this might be our Teague Zenith.
So Miles did have a Teague in hand. Not sure if he has a second one
did
to
he already
Zenith for.
play the destroy artifact enchantment?
Are you talking about the Rex Age?
Yeah.
He did.
All right.
That was one of the cards that went early in the game. Yeah, I think he's getting the Teague.
Interesting. It looks like there are no more targets. So
That is crazy.
I wonder. We did see Enchantresses get killed earlier. I wonder if one of those cards Miles discarded when he was double discarding was maybe another one.
Sterling
Okay.
Grove. You know, Miles plays this deck a lot online. Even though he doesn't... I think he used to stream to twitch.tv.
Oh, no kidding.
For online content. But now he just hangs out. I mean, he used to play this a lot. I've faced him a number of times. MK...
Interesting. Why no attack?
Oh, I know
Cam
what
16.
Josh's endgame is.
What's his
Yeah,
name
let's
again?
take it out the Snaring Bridge and mill him. And mill Miles.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
That's the
No.
plan. It's interesting, though, because both players are drawing at relatively alarming rates. Although the Enchantress player is winning faster.
Okay, the
Yeah, they're both pointing to... Yeah, Josh is...
Spyglass is naming Sterling Grove and Helm of Obedience, and Miles could have activated his Sterling Grove in response to that Sorcerer Spyglass, is that right?
Potentially, I believe.
Huh.
I'm just surprised at him not attacking last turn.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
Why is
that's
he
free.
letting Chandra live?
Well,
I'm not
and
sure. This
not-
might be Emrakul here.
not only that, but Josh is also only at 12, so
Right.
Yeah.
it's a 2-turn clock.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Sarah
Okay,
Sanctum.
so you
So
go ahead
it's
and
a
just
cycle. This will be probably another cycle.
Yeah.
Should cost. Okay, so he's representing with the floating mana.
Correct.
So he's paying 3 for the Trinospheres.
Cast out.
Cast out. That's pretty
That's
solid.
probably it.
I can just target the Spyglass that has
Yeah.
Helm.
On Helm, he's going to go ahead and crack at the Helm and...
Activate Helm.
Blam, blam.
And helmed out Josh.
Good
Wow.
game.
Insane. That is the end of match number 1 between Miles Wallio and Josh Monks. Miles taking it in fine fashion in 3.
Wow. Let's bring it back to the booth, folks, here while our competitors gear up for the next round. What's up, guys? Michael Tessier, Jordan Isaka, Brian Bennett, and Jeremy Edwards in the booth for you here for a Seattle showdown between Josh Monks and Miles Wallio. Thank you so much for joining us. We do these events about once a month, and they're just 1v1 fights where each competitor brings 3 legacy decks, and they have to win with each of their 3 decks over the course of the night. So if you lose with a deck, you can replay it. So
Right.
Josh will have the option, he will have to play Blood Moon Stompy and win with it tonight. But Miles, of course, winning with Enchantress now, won't play that deck again, and will have to play one of his other 2 decks this evening, which are Elves and Goblins. Now, if you're Josh,
Yeah.
you sticking with Moon Stompy, knowing you have to win with it eventually, or switching to something else?
Your tech is in your Moon Stompy deck, and if that's the reason why you brought this deck, I think you stay the course. I think it's one of those things where you're just excited to play Aether Flash, and you hope that it really gets them. And it's way more powerful versus the second and third iterations of the decks that Miles brought.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna be. I mean, I think he has to just roll with it.
Okay.
Honestly,
Interesting.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
swap some
yeah. Let's go
over.
ahead and swap.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and get some fresh air. Maybe we'll go around. And
All right.
Here's some decks.
If you
Yes.
even agree.
Let's send it down to our match there, and you guys can check out our players.
Ambrosia, Mike Wallio,
That's
That's
scary,
true.
bro.
and yeah, Jordan's gone.
All right, guys, enjoy round 2 of our Seattle Showdown.
What's up, chat?
So these are our other decks.
Yeah, I saw this earlier.
So Enchantress is now retired.
Yeah, Enchantress won, so that's out of here.
Burn it. Every time I play against Enchantress, I'm on burn, and then it's like I get him down to like 4 life, and then it's like
Just that.
The-
Solitary confinement.
solitary
yeah.
confinement, worship, and you're like,
Quite good cards against burn.
where in the world's the Fire Blast?
Moon Stompy kind of just did what it does sometimes and drew no action.
Huh?
The
The,
game
the
3.
Moon Stompy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm not a fan of. The Moon Stompy is like,
There's lists that are more proactive.
yeah. I think the big thing is just the
Josh's is very.
this. What is it? The solitary confinement cutting off the damage from the Blessing Chandra.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
that was just the
That was the
backbreaking
biggest
point.
thing.
Because the Chandra would have won the game if that, like,
Yeah.
wasn't the case.
You think Josh sticks with Moon Stompy, or you think he tries out a different deck?
I'm not sure.
I was surprised he started with Moon Stompy, honestly, knowing Miles' range.
He maybe was thinking Miles was going to start with elves, and then he'd be able to Chalice him and Aether Flash him and Moon him, and there's a lot of action in that deck.
I don't know. Looking at Josh's list, I feel like I'd rather have Pile as my starting deck, figure out like what's going on, than anything else. That would not have worked out well.
He may have thought that if Miles starts with
Right,
elves and he's
sure.
playing Pile, he might just get run over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because Miles definitely has been playing elves.
Forever.
Of the rest of these decks, he's been playing it the most recently.
Oh, we got so Kelvin says that Miles is on goblins. I think that Josh is just sticking with
Josh
Moon
looks like he's
Stompy.
sticking with Moon Stompy, unless he has all the same sleeves.
So this is the battle of the red decks.
I
I
think-
was joking that when he was borrowing decks, he's gonna need time to re-sleeve. So,
I
but
do think Monk's re-sleeved everything, so
Okay.
he shouldn't be giving away.
Anything.
Miles loves character
Miles-
sleeves. So if you pay attention to what characters are on the back,
You'll know.
you'll know. But he'll also swap the decks between the different character
No,
sleeves,
totally.
so that you see the character and you're like, oh, that's elves, and then it's not elves.
I like to do that with the boxes that I
Yeah.
just bring, and all my sleeves are the same, so.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Well, my Miracle sleeves are different right now, but I need to re-sleeve. I did kind of a number on them at the GP.
Yeah,
So-
we don't get to see a whole lot of goblins.
No, Goblins
It's
is
it's a fun-
it's a fun deck.
Miles is running.
Not greatly positioned against Josh's lineup, but it's not
It's
horrible either.
pretty nice if they try to Blood Moon you and play Basic Mountain.
But so
feels
Miles
good.
is actually splashing white in goblins here just for sideboard tech.
I also see Cavern of Souls, play it through Chalice.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid too.
Yeah, I think
playing
Miles
on
also
board.
plays chalices in the board, so he's
fine with Chalice
fine with chalice.
Yeah.
and Blood Moons.
When you're playing a Chalice deck, the last thing you want to play against is an opposing Chalice deck. The first thing you take out is your Chalices.
The mirrors are amusing.
Some people forget though, because you're just so used to leaving them in.
I know.
Yeah.
I play a little Eldrazi Tron in Modern, and for a while there, it was quite a few mirrors, and I just would not play Chalices in my deck.
Right.
But everybody expects me to play Chalice, and so,
So they play around
they
Chalice.
they play their 1-drops early, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking, well, I don't have this card in my deck, but I'm
It's-
happy that it's changing your play.
It's
'cause
just like
better for
Daze
me.
and Delver, right? You play around
Yeah,
Daze because
right.
whether or not they
You
have it.
expect them to daze you, and then when they don't daze you,
I've learned sometimes you should just play into it and just try to get them to
It's-
daze stuff that can
It's
be dazed.
correct a lot of the time to disrespect days. The tempo loss it causes to the Delver deck is pretty substantial.
Okay, so
Unless you like have to have something resolve.
wait, city, mountain, waste, plateau.
Oh, City of Traders? Okay.
Wait, but
Yeah, Miles
no,
is
that's
yeah.
the wrong side.
Wrong side.
Because I was like, it doesn't play city and goblins.
Yeah, confused. There we go.
There we go.
Waste Plateau Tar.
Tarfire.
Oh,
Did
Starfire.
they re-roll or
Matron. Oh, Josh's hand is quite bad.
I think he's gonna mulligan. No, he's not mulligan.
Was he already on 6? Oh, he had a guide. So it's a turn 1 Chalice against in the
Yeah,
in the dark.
turn 1 Chalice in the dark. It's unfortunately for Josh not going to be great here.
Cabin into lackey. Okay, so this is. I don't think Miles has like the crazy follow-ups though. He has matron, so that's
Oh, nice. Here's a 2/2.
Have a mountain.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
now
you.
that cuts off the
No more
the
lackeys.
cavern.
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah.
Wait, he has the Tarfire though, right? So
He
but the
can't cast
chalice.
it,
That's yeah.
2 mana. I don't know what all these goblins do. I don't really.
Well,
Oh,
there's a Sting Scourger.
Scourger.
So
So bounce
goodbye,
the
Magus
moon.
to the moon. And
Bounce
then,
it, and then,
Lackey's going to get in and drop down another goblin.
It's gonna be
Oh,
matron
Miles-
off of
Miles is
this.
Very excited.
Oh, man.
No. Oh. Tuk
Wow,
Tuk.
Tuk Tuk
Tuk
Scrapper.
Tuk Tuk Scrapper gets rid of the chalice.
So now he gets the Tarfire next turn.
Yeah. This is.
just
Oh,
gonna
my
come down again.
goodness. This is a disaster for monks.
They're watching the stream on the TV out there.
Oh, it's back! It's back! You thought it was gone? You thought it was gone? You want to talk about?
Wait, how did? Oh, he didn't play. He didn't play.
Oh my god! It's
Oh.
a bloodbath.
Get strapped. Get strapped, Josh.
Ooh! Oh, the
Oh,
lackey,
God.
the lackey check. Sometimes they just don't have it. Oh.
Goblin
Matron.
What are you gonna find here?
Oh, is he gonna get the? Is he gonna get Kiki Jiki or is he
Man,
gonna?
If you're Josh, you're just thinking like.
I think you
"Wow,
just-
fresh- It is the heat is real right now.
You,
It is getting.
Did Josh
hot.
get straight swept?
Oh, I don't know. I don't.
I would
It's probably
laugh
gonna
because
happen.
he was his like his deck choices. It was
So
he was
simple.
he was trying to
So,
sweep.
like,
Yeah.
I-
Did Miles win the die roll? Is that why he got that?
No,
Did
Miles
not.
lost the die
Miles
roll.
lost the die
Wait,
He just had
Cavern
Cavern.
Lackey?
Cavern Lackey.
Oh, so
after Josh
sick.
won.
Josh's
So
face is just.
So Nightbot hates Tyler Gardner apparently,
Oh
but
my god.
I can't fix that right now, Tyler.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, feel the tension.
Feel the
Yeah.
mood.
Gem Palm Incinerator.
I'm not sure why he grabbed the Gem Palm. I think Kiki Jiki would have been a really good choice.
He has Kiki, right?
In the
I think
list.
Miles still doesn't know what all is in this deck. So
Jim Palm lets him get rid of stuff.
yeah, he has 3 goblins right now, so it's just a kill spell. That
But against
cycles.
Moon Stumpy, there's not that many creatures that you can get rid
It
of.
depends on the build. There's a lot of builds that'll play more creatures.
Yeah, just the thing is with Kiki Jiki, you can all of a sudden start.
Hi. Hi, Jake.
Oh, and then is that a
There's
pile
goblin
driver?
Pile driver.
Pile driver
now.
coming down. So that's gonna be the heavy hitter.
Monks has no play.
I think
this
he's
is
just dead.
He's just dead.
The-
the delayed
What
screen
ability?
from down there versus up here. was-
Thundering into the red zone.
Oh. Who have you been
And
doing?
another
Josh,
another
I think
Viking.
Josh does have outs, but
Ancient Tomb is definitely not the out.
oh, he had the confluence. See, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
the confluence, but he was it too.
Yeah, and he didn't. If he drew a mountain, I think he could have cast confluence there.
Yeah, he's looking for sweepers in this matchup.
Man, I think if you're Josh after that one,
you're
you're
sweating
just
a little bit.
you're a little shaken
Yeah.
because that was just a
I-
Does
complete.
Josh have to stick with the mono red deck?
No.
I wasn't sure.
He has to win with
That's-
this deck
That's the
eventually.
way
Right,
like
right.
people have generally played it out.
Okay.
But
No,
they
I-
never,
it's
they
against-
never technically said
Okay,
that you have
yeah.
to stay.
Against
I wasn't
Daniel,
sure.
I started off with Burn, and then I knew what he was up to. He was doing degenerate combo, and I was like, we are switching
You're like,
to
no.
the control decks.
I love how we were watching outside on stream, and as soon as we heard you yell, we immediately turned to look, and it was like, like we watched it as it happened.
Oh god.
Oh man! And then
I-
drawing the ancient tomb at
This
the
is
end.
a interesting
The actual.
Stumpy list.
Thanks, Dan, for chiming in and watching. Yeah, that was a huge beating. Miles's hand there just lined up perfectly with Josh Monks' tool set, and
this was the most one-sided of the matchups I thought
It-
we were
it-
getting to.
CLG is still a thing. Cavern Lackey, go. Good luck. Good luck, dude. That has been around in the meta for so
He had
long.
a good response. He was like, "Here's a
Cavern,
tutu." And then he got bounced. Dude, I thought he had a good idea. I was like,
Yeah, it's like
"This will stop the lackey."
that's right, Shaman's so good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe not.
I was like, man, he needs to use a tar
so
fire, but he
what is
can't.
this?
And then all of a sudden, Sting
Sting
Scout.
Scourger.
What does Josh play here? I love that he has Ashen Riders in this board.
Yeah. Now if you're man,
So he's got K returns, more pillars.
so sick.
I don't think you bring in the pillars
Bring in
because
pillars?
it's a Aether Vial deck.
Right.
So
It
pillars,
doesn't even matter.
like you might
Torpor
get
do
lucky.
anything?
Torpor Orb is
Good.
huge.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
huge.
I always
Torpor
forget to
because
text on that card.
everything in Goblins is ETB triggers.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Torpor really gets him good.
So he brings in like 5
He has
cards.
sweet
I think
too.
someone was playing Torpor Orb on.
You could hit a,
What is it?
You could hit a bridge down.
Tom
and
was
that's probably
on
just
Tom
game
was on
over, right?
what is it? Death Knot or whatever. And he was playing the
Stifle Knot,
Stifle Knot with Death Shadow.
Here, can I still,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And he
follow
played
this?
Torpor Orb, and it was like goblins can't do anything against Torpor Orb. You just have all these vanilla 1/1s.
4 mana 2/2 with haste.
Okay,
It's
so he
great.
He can win through a bridge, but he does
Oh, no,
only
he
have
has-
the one
He has
sharpshooter.
tuck tuck. He has tuck
He's
tuck.
tuck
Tuck Tuck.
and the sharpshooter.
He should also have the
So I'm
Spring
just saying if Josh
Prospector.
plays like 3 bridges,
we can
right?
make, does he have Jiki?
He has
does have
Kiki
GP.
G.
So you make copies of his
Right.
But you
I
can-
mean, it's feasibly possible, not great possible.
The
I'm just trying to figure out what Josh's
what is
plan
it?
should be.
Goblins has an amazing tool set. It's just
Cloister is pretty spicy.
Okay, guys, name before Tuk Tuk Scrapper and Tin Tree. Okay, well,
Tin Street.
Tin
You were
Tree
gonna
Hooligan.
say answers Tin Street
No.
Hooligan.
No. Are you ready? Before Tuk Tuk Scrapper and Tin Street Hooligan, what was the goblin that goblins used?
Oh yeah, there is a Krinko mob boss
I'm
in the deck.
serious.
Oh.
Wait, what?
What was the goblin?
Something Vandal?
I know which one it is.
I don't know what it
And
is.
do you
I
remember
didn't
why
play
it was
then.
so bad? Because you had to tap it, and it would deal damage,
Yeah.
right? To itself.
Yeah.
What?
So
It's,
you would tap it to destroy an artifact. It would deal damage.
Goblin Tinkerer.
Is it? Well, yeah, Goblin Tinkerer. It would tap it to deal in mana to deal damage. It would blow up an artifact and deal that much damage to the Tinkerer itself.
So it was only really a one shot unless you were killing Moxes.
So the thing though is you were using it to blow up Jite, right? But Jite would always shoot down Goblin Warchief first. So your Tinkerer would never have haste.
Oh, yep.
This view I don't think has the
cards.
Uh,
It should be...
Actually, Dan probably knows.
Goblin Vandal.
Yeah, Goblin Vandal. Yeah. That's the card. That's the card. So, and then after that, they printed Tin Street Hooligan in Ravnica. That's right. And everyone was splashing green, so you could play Corrosion Grip as well.
Oh, he does have Goblin Settler.
Yeah. He's
So-
got one.
Yeah. Goblin Settler's pretty fun. Because Miles could actually get Josh on the mana denial plan.
I think Miles has foiled out this deck, and like Goblin Settler is one of the cards where he's hoping for a reprint so he can get that foil too.
Dude, this is actually awesome. Daniel Wynn, one of the all-time Elf Lords in chat, I would like to say that he actually likes to play all of the other tribal decks as well. Goblins notwithstanding, Merfolk notwithstanding. So, you know, he's going to know about all this sweet Goblins tech. I'm sure he remembers an era where they like Goblins used to splash white.
That should be a chalice on one.
Yeah,
there.
you fix it.
Yeah.
And Josh is 18.
Alright, are you ready for some CLG?
I don't think he has it. I don't think he has a
But,
cavern.
no, it looks like
I think he
has.
has.
Oh,
he has 2 caverns.
Oh, he kept a slow hand here.
Monks did not look happy. Ooh,
Oh,
Aether
Aether
Flash.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
That is going to be a
Alright.
problem. I think this
That's
is
why you keep that.
Yeah, that's why you keep the hand.
Oh,
Disenchant! Oh!
Oh
You're
my
styling
gosh.
on him. That was
Disrespect.
nasty.
Chandra.
There's a Chandra, though. So
Oh my god. The
Josh is still going.
disenchant.
Oh,
no! Josh is just. He's
having
just
a rough
getting
time.
the unfortunate breaks here. That is just a tough
That's
one.
rough.
you didn't want to pitch that
Here
card.
comes. Is this?
Oh
War
my
Chief.
gosh.
Oh, that's War Chief, right?
Haste.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting in there, and all goblins have haste and +1/+1.
Oh, I
Goblin
feel that
Chieftain.
Wow.
Goblin Chieftain.
I feel you have to play
Yeah, you
this and
gotta
get rid of
cast
the
him down,
chieftain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now he's gonna bullseye the chieftain here, I think.
Yeah.
Almost certainly, right?
No,
No.
Oh,
he's
he's going
not.
up. Oh, he's
Oh,
thinking
he's
about it.
thinking
He's
about it.
thinking about it.
You got to down
Yeah, you gotta take.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you ready for War Chief here?
Oh my god.
War Chief or Ringleader? He has so many. It's
Ringleader,
It's
Ringleader.
Ringleader. It's Ringleader. Oh!
Josh is like, please.
Matron.
Oh!
Ringleader.
It's
Pile
always
driver.
sick. It's always so sick.
Draw
It's
3.
always 3.
Draw 3.
Oh my
Oh,
god. And
God.
it's another Ringleader.
Um,
and a matron.
How many cards does he? Oh, he's counting.
Oh,
Dude,
cast the
goblins
Cast the
cast it
Time.
in defense mode. Oh, don't hurt me.
Shields
Don't
up.
hurt me.
Shields up.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Not a
dude,
good
Goblins
scenario.
showing why it was just an old school powerhouse. It was
I mean,
dominant.
Yeah.
Josh
in the
is, Josh is playing some old school decks. So,
True.
like,
Oh
Miles,
man.
yeah, playing old school.
Have
decks,
another lord.
Enchantress,
oh
goblins.
my god.
Oh,
Wow.
and that is a huge
The
pile
hammer.
driver. driver just dropping the hammer.
That's
Josh, like, how much damage is this?
You have to block the
man.
Lord.
You have to block the Lord.
Yeah, you have to.
You can't.
Yeah.
You gotta block the Lord.
Jeez.
He still takes.
Man, think if that was Goblin King.
3,
Oh.
No.
5, 6,
No.
7, 8,
Battle
9,
Hammer gets
10.
him for 8, right?
Yeah.
He's
Just
getting.
a
I think he got hit for
savage
10
amount.
there.
7, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He's at 7.
It's it's 3 goblins attacking, has 1 power, and then +1.
Monk's
Oh,
hands,
man.
man, it's so bad.
Oh. Here's a real question. Was Monk's the challenger?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was?
I
Monk's
believe
challenge.
I think so.
Well, so I challenged
No
Dan, and
plays
Monks
for
really
Monks.
wanted to get a challenge in.
I wanted to play somebody.
Wow.
Oh, that's a war chief? I think he just drew off the
Just
top.
so
Another
fearsome.
lord.
No, it's not a
Goblins.
lord. It's just
Goblins.
it gives
Yeah,
everything
it's
haste
old
and
school.
makes them
Old.
cheaper.
That's like lordly.
Old school.
Taking the lunch money from the other mountain deck.
Just got here and that
Alright.
just happened.
Oh,
This is goblins,
Just feeling
guys.
The heat, man. If you're the
Yeah.
other issue is if you
Oh,
want,
did he just wasteland the?
just wasteland
tomb.
the ancient tomb.
I mean, he's got okay matchups against Miles' last deck if he gets wrecked here.
no, he does.
Another
He's-
ringleader.
It's looking like
Yeah.
wrecking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
He can
looking
make a
tough.
comeback.
TikTok.
I
only
think
one.
that's a port.
No,
So
and a
he
gem
hit
palm
Gem palm.
and a
also.
matron.
Oh,
Josh is gonna have to go. I think
gonna
in
do
this
the
spot,
sweep.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
gonna
done.
need to go for the reverse sweep.
The OCB.
The reverse.
Oh man,
The one deck
So-
victory.
so-
Yeah.
he has to. Josh still has to win with all 3 of his decks. Miles here just cleaned out with goblins 2-0.
Monks is
Get this out of there.
back is against the wall.
Absolutely.
Monks has to
he's in
win with
trouble.
3 decks left.
I think
That
you stick
that
with-
that round was a disaster.
That was a
was
tough
really
one,
bad.
especially because, I mean, I think that
Uh,
Josh.
2-2.
Ringleader is a 2-2.
Wow, that
Josh
was,
made good calls.
Yeah, that was
His deck
crazy.
choices were good.
That was a total
I want to
backfire.
bring you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Let's bring it back to the booth here.
Oh wait, can we go and do a little mid match? I don't know if Josh wants
No,
to. Josh
no,
wants to.
no.
So that when the Aetherflash first hit hit play, Miles was like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be the first king sweep ever," and I'm pretty sure it's
So,
yeah.
so the mood in the room
Clutch
down
gets
there.
enchant.
It's pretty flipped, isn't it?
Oh my goodness. So before, everyone was like laughing as we pointed out in round 1.
Yeah.
But
Josh is sweating. We can see his face here on the player cams.
0-2 could get swept. Could be if it got swept, would be our first sweep.
Yeah, it would be. But honestly, if anybody
I think
can go
Josh-
for a full reverse, it's Josh.
That's true.
Josh has
He's not
So
getting
true.
swept.
Josh
Crafty.
has great deck knowledge. He
Yeah.
has great deck
He just has
crafting.
he just has elves left. He's got bad matchups for elves.
I will say Moon Stompy has a great matchup against Elves, primarily because literally every lock piece out of Moon Stompy is crippling for the Elves deck.
True.
I'm not talking about it is hard to beat. I'm saying it's completely crippling. Trinisphere, Chalice of the Void, Blood Moon, Magus of the Moon. All these cards are so hard for Elves to deal with. So we'll see what will happen here.
However, Monks doesn't know that Elves is the last deck.
Oh,
He's
he
in
probably
the dark. He has to just pick a deck, and Moon Stompy, is he going to stick with it?
He's probably
Despite
pretty
it
sure that
failing
it's.
it looks
elves.
like he's switching decks. Take a look.
Oh,
Let's send it
and
down
that's
to- let's send it down
exactly
to our
what
match,
Jeremy
guys.
just said. The caster's curse.
Wow.
The cast. Now, if I was Josh, no, I'm gonna be honest, man. If Josh turns around and listens to this cast after, I would take a break. I would use the restroom. I would catch my breath. You just went through some pretty rough games. Like, you need a break, guy.
You
that
just
mental
lost to the
reset.
fringe stuff.
Well,
Now you're
well-
onto the tier stuff.
Well, I mean, the thing about it, though is Josh has been around long enough where he remembers how powerful Goblins was, and he remembers he just felt the power. You know, we all have seen it. We all respect it.
Right.
But that's just one of the I think Josh was ready for him too. He had the Aether Flash. He had the defensive pieces. It was just a tough spot to be in. I mean, Miles drew well. 2 of the disenchants came in, and that was it.
And the turn 1 Cavern, both games.
Just without a Blood Moon to lock out.
I was a little bit worried on the game too. I thought Miles kept a really slow hand, and then it was
Yeah,
the
he
turn 1
did.
Chalice, turn 2 the
Aether Flash.
Aether Flash, and Miles was just like disenchant and then gets the ball rolling.
Yeah, and one of the things that's nice about Goblins is it really can turn the corner quickly. One card off the top, Ringleader off the top will generate so much advantage.
How sick would it be if Josh actually had Blood Moon Stompy sleeved up in two copies of the deck, sleeved up in 2 different colored sleeves?
You know, I was always
Just
wondering
for
if
the
I could
fake
do that.
Nah, you can't do that.
I was gonna whiteboard or
Why not?
burn,
'Cause
just
then
so
you have
whenever I
2
run
decks.
into Jordan, I can play a whiteboarded
It
version
can't-
against him.
It can't be 2 of the same deck.
No, you have 3 different decks.
Well, you have 4 decks.
Still
3 different decks.
against the rules.
But a duplicate copy of one of them.
Michael Tessier against the rules.
Yeah, I think we've actually gone with the idea that it would be sick, but I would say that I think we've already talked about how the 3 decks all have to be different by a whole variation.
So we got some notes from the floor. What is it called?
Yeah, the floor.
Downstairs.
From the stadium.
The spotters.
The spotters.
On-field report.
We Josh is switching to pile. This is what I expected from Josh.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is a
Your
bad choice.
your back's against the wall. You just want to go back to a safety net deck. I feel.
Yeah, he's going to
This
force.
is his worst
Um,
matchup
he's
by
going to
far
stay on
against
force.
elves.
Oh, dude,
After
that
he
would be.
uses elves.
What is?
After
He's got a.
switches off of his Aether Flash deck.
He was even
plays
saying.
against elves.
He was even saying he thinks the matchup's good for him. Moon Stompy versus Goblins, and he felt like he was a sweeper away from winning both games.
Yeah,
Which he really was.
He really. I mean, like we watched game 1 where
He drew the wrong land.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
just needed.
and-
And
Yeah,
he,
if he top decks a land,
Yeah.
he kills Miles'
And-
board. Miles
and-
has, what, 2 cards in hand?
And
Yeah.
the worst thing though was he put him. He was at exactly 2, and he goes, "Am I dead?" And I'm like, "This top deck maybe."
We should
was a
go
tough
relieve Calvin there.
Yeah, we totally
Doing
should
that.
get him a chance to get up here.
Yeah.
Maybe has Jake been up here too yet?
Jake
No.
was in here earlier. I wasn't really commentating. Yeah, let's let those guys get in here and chat.
I'll go and swap out for one of those fellows when they come up here.
okay. So I don't see anything in the main for helping out too much with this matchup from Josh's check pile list.
That is unfortunate for Josh. He's gonna have to rely on some of his spot
Oh
removal.
no, actually, he
early.
does have 1 marsh casualties in the main.
That's a good one.
I was looking for a board wipe, and
Kelvin, welcome.
I got sent up here. Jordan banished me.
We got Kelvin Wallace now.
Kelvin
joining
Wallace in the
us.
booth. One of the 1K top 8 regulars.
Kelvin top 8 machine Wallace.
So they're rolling 8. 10. So Miles just won this high roll, or if it was a low roll, Josh won.
They're not doing low roll.
I feel that this is like, if I'm Josh, I'm sweating even more. Yes, Miles is on the Nissa
All right,
list.
Jake McKeon.
4-man booth.
You're gonna get in this
4-man
soft
booth.
chair
Do you guys
here,
want to be in the
unless you
front chairs, or?
I mean, I don't mind.
want to carry your voice.
Yeah, I don't mind projecting.
I think I have the softest voice here, so I'll just stay
All right,
closer to
so
the mic.
Josh has Liliana the Last Hope, Brainstorm, Underground Sea, Verdant, Volk, Bolt, and something Deathray Shaman. So Miles just Green Sun for a Druid Arbor. I feel you have to kill this. He's not killing it. The thing is, this Green Sun for Druid Arbor really enables the turn 2 combo off for Elves. We don't have Miles' hand up yet, so we don't know if that's what's going to happen.
Looks pretty fast. He has a Heritage Druid in there,
Yeah, if he just goes like...
and you just do a Cradle.
Yeah, but you don't want to play it right away. So here it's typically going to be the Glimpse, Query on Ranger, Bounce, Untap, go crazy.
Josh probably. I mean, he had the bolt, so.
Yeah, I would have bolted
Interesting.
the... if you're not used to this matchup, though,
So there's still 1 mana floating. Josh might just be getting wrecked here.
he only has the 2-drop.
No way to get a 3rd elf.
No, yeah, his last elf was the...
No,
Visionary.
Visionary.
I think he was hoping to hit a 1 mana elf.
Well, now that's kind of awkward because Josh will probably just go for the druid. Maybe he'll wait and do it with something on the stack.
He's got a Lily on the last one.
That is actually probably coming down right
Yeah,
now.
it's got to hit the Heritage Druid.
It's pretty slow. He would definitely prefer Marsh Casualties or Kolaghan's Command or something that can kill multiple things or do more than just kill
Discard,
one.
Yeah.
That was a Pendlehaven.
Ooh.
What is Miles' play? Visionary? I would have...
Oh,
I feel it would have been better to just get the
attack in with Pendlehaven.
attack
Arbor.
in. Get the Lily off the board.
It would be exactly 4, which would have been nice in that scenario. Yeah.
Because now he still gets to eat another elf from you or
Possibly.
creature.
You guys use the
Arbor.
Pendlehaven to defend.
Yeah.
Or well,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
true.
you're right.
Pendlehaven can just protect.
You're right.
There you go.
That's a brainstorm.
It's a fancy new brainstorm.
I didn't realize it was fancy new because I play on Moto all the time.
Yeah.
I was like, why
It's
is
the
everyone
first time
excited for this art?
It's the first time it's been in real paper, which is pretty cool.
Miles has a Bayou, Craterhoof, and a Rex Sage.
Yeah, it looks like the brainstorm has hit 2 more lands and another brainstorm.
Yeah.
Well, Miles is very close to Hardcast Craterhoof.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has
been interesting to see how these is lined up against Josh's deck choices tonight. If Miles wins, this is big.
this is a clean sweep.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
It was funny because Miles was
Mine is
like,
game 1. Yeah.
we have a bunch of boxes downstairs, and he's like, man, if I scrub out, he's like, I'm ready to just draft for the remainder of the night.
Yeah, we were looking at those unstable boxes you got down there.
Yeah.
Really fun.
So there's the defend against Liliana with Pendlehaven.
He's gonna him.
Him is pretty good.
Yeah, it could slow down a lot of what's happening here for Miles. Josh is gonna have to roll. The
See if he
dice.
hoof.
He
Yeah,
hits
did
the
hit
hoof and the Rex Sage.
That buys a lot of time.
Yep.
Land.
So he's left with the Bayou in hand.
Yeah, Pendlehaven quite good against this Liliana.
Oh, the
So-
nettle. He missed the Nettle Sentinel trigger, I think.
So he just binned his Dryad Arbor. Why did that die?
No. Can we?
I thought it was protected from the Pendlehaven with the Pendlehaven.
No, it's because until your next turn. So when the Pendlehaven.
Ah,
yeah,
that's
Liliana
why.
says until your next
Oh,
turn.
So it's still what had the minus applied.
Right. End of turn.
Interesting. Yep.
Yeah, that is weird. I didn't think of that till it just came up. Yeah, there's like a window.
yeah. I think Miles should have really taken this Lily off the board when he had the chance.
It definitely, yeah. I mean, I think that's probably the main reason Josh kept his hand, right? The card just on paper at least does a lot of work against elves.
Yeah, that's where Josh was tapped out. The Lily was at 4. Deathrite was tapped.
Yeah.
He could have swung in with the Dryad Arbor and the Nettle Sentinel and pumped, and then
Yeah.
he could have then played the Visionary and the other things.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, this Liliana is turning out to be quite impressive, getting a lot of value for Josh.
Yeah.
I think the crazy
Lily
thing.
plus him, I guess, and plus Miles. Yeah, Miles letting the Lily live, right? Like.
Well, and Josh still had to hit that Craterhoof Behemoth.
True. Yeah,
If he had missed and the Craterhoof had come down.
that's true. That was a pretty good him in that regard.
Yeah, the crazy thing about this Lily is the other Lily, the Liliana of the Veil, is a -2 to Edict,
Yep.
right?
Right.
Where this one is a +1 for targeted
Yep.
removal.
Yep.
And there's actually a lot. Most decks cannot beat Liliana the Last Hope. The early check pile lists were playing Veil, and then they found out that one of the best techs against check pile was Liliana
Yep.
the Last Hope in the side, and then it found out that if you mainboard it, it's just good
It's
against
just a main
so
deck
many
card.
decks.
Yeah, and the ultimate's just an alternate win con, so
Yeah, and
the minus is effective. Gets back to kick the creature. Like the card's pretty nuts.
It's interesting because you want the Liliana of the Veil against large creatures,
Right.
and you want Liliana Last Hope against small creatures.
Yeah.
And then we start recycling Baleful Strixes. The Lily on Last Hope still works against big creatures.
Exactly. Yeah. It just pairs well with like everything that's going on in Legacy right now.
yeah, the ones that I think is crazy is when you have Liliana the Last Hope with Punishing Fire.
Yeah.
You're just like, yeah, you can't develop a board, guys. So it looks like Miles drew another Craterhoof. If the hand comments are correct. Josh now has
Jace.
Strix, Snap, Push, and just landed the Jace from his hand.
So Josh clawing
Josh
his way
is-
back in here.
Josh's hand is loaded.
Yeah.
He also has Snapcaster Mage in there, so You
Yeah,
can snap back this bolt whenever he feels like Miles is getting a foothold.
Right.
I don't think he doesn't have to really do anything because he can just keep plussing Lily on the Nettle Sentinel right now.
Yeah.
And then he just sits back and he can ult Lily and then win with the zombie tokens.
He's probably gonna be able to snap him next turn as well.
Yeah, if Miles doesn't play anything, then snap him seems pretty easy.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, there'll be a fatal push. Just make Miles 0 creatures now.
Yeah, that turns off the cradle, so he's...
Yeah.
Oh, the fate ceiling's begun.
Is it Strix?
Go.
I'm not sure if I would have tapped the volcanic there, just to keep different colors open, but...
Now we're seeing... Okay.
Drain, end of turn.
Okay, that was just a draw and pass from Miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, Miles is extremely behind.
Yeah. Fate Seal.
Oh, so the question about how different the 3 decks must be, it's...
Yeah.
You can't play... The goal is that you kind of have a good amount of variation between your decks. It doesn't have to necessarily be completely different. It's just, what is it? Some of the complaints when, if you watch the GPs or some of the 1Ks, it's like, oh, all we saw was Deathrite Shaman Day, or like all we saw was Tron Day. So we ask that the players try to have variation so that it keeps it kind of fresh with each round between the two.
You can still play.
You can still get stuck on
Shamans in all your decks if you wanted to.
You can play Deathrite Shamans in all your decks. Just like, what is it? If you played Grixis Delver, Bug Delver, well, actually those are really different.
Well, you wouldn't be able to play, say, Check Pile and Grixis Thieves, right? Because those are too similar.
I'm not.
Oh, maybe that is allowed.
It's kind of just, I guess it would be up to parties concerned.
Yeah, and I mean we don't
strict rules.
We don't vet the decks that they choose. It's just kind of
honor system.
An honor system, and like it really is just like Dan said, a gentleman's agreement.
All right, well,
I think the big thing is whether or not after you do that people want to challenge you again or play you, because these are all challenges issued by the players.
True.
And we just host to cast and stream.
Let's touch on these sideboards.
Oh, sideboards. So from Josh, I think we're gonna have a EE come in, as well as there's an Abrade.
Marsh Casualties.
Marsh Casualties, definitely.
Pyroclasm as well.
Pyroclasm.
Yeah.
He has a Thoughtseize. I'm not sure if you...
looks like the Thoughtseize came in.
I would imagine just Josh wants to have that that action early to be able to snipe.
Oddly, there's a chill.
From Miles' hand. That was definitely something Josh was talking about before the tournament.
He was trying to snipe goblins.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I was going to get some foil arena chills, but I did not yet. Don't go buying those out, people.
Jace, Inquisition, him, Lily, Snap out.
Wait, Lily out? Oh, the Veil out.
Veil.
Yeah, Liliana the Veil's gonna come out.
Just gets overrun.
The Edict effect's not that great against a deck that goes wide.
Yeah, too many creatures.
You want to limit your opponent's choices with the actions you take. Jace is a little slow, which is why that's coming out. Oddly, I always leave mine in because I just don't think about siding them out.
What do we think about Miles' sideboard?
So Miles has boarded out Reclamation Sage, a Visionary, Quirion Ranger, a Nettle Sentinel, a Crop Rotation, and a Glimpse. So he's still keeping his ratios pretty similar. And he is bringing in Gaddock Teague, a Ren's Run Packmaster, Nissa, Vital Force, 3 Abrupt Decays, and a Leovold.
Interesting.
So what are the looking at the Josh's list? I'm wondering. I always wonder what the. I guess the abrupt decays can hit Liliana, Leovolds, Strixes or Death Rights if you need to. It's just all around removal.
And it's there for potential permanents, like maybe a Grafdigger's Cage or something less expected that you might see out of a deck like that.
Oh, that's true.
Or a GT or a problem permanent that.
So what's
Josh
interesting
could
too
have.
is based off of like Josh's metagaming, he doesn't have too much graveyard hate or things like that. So if you went for like the graveyard combo or show and tell, he has Flusterstorms.
Players on the cheap decks today.
I'm surprised they didn't have like engineered play because that seems like something that would hose 2 of Miles' decks.
Yeah.
The thing with engineered plague is they can green sun for the Rex Sage, so they just kind of wait for it.
I like
yeah.
Plague.
So Josh has Thoughtseize, 2
Underrated
Forces,
card.
a Bayou, Deathrite Shaman, a Fatal Push, 2 Bayous, and a Volk. Miles has Wooded Foothills, Forest, Bayou, Decay, Green Sun Zenith. I think they're still thinking, or it looks like Miles may have kept Nissa. Miles is on the play, so I think he kept, yeah.
Oh, here is your.
Oh, and Heritage Druid down.
I mean, this seems like bait. He's trying to get that bolted because his hand looks like it's set up to just cast Nissa and start making 5/5s. So he didn't open on Dried Arbor because he's trying to keep that alive. So he's trying to draw out a Fatal Push or Lightning Bolt and that Heritage Druid.
Yeah, Monk's just a Bayou at this point.
So he got Thoughtseize in hand.
He's not gonna do it. He's gonna play out Deathrite. Miles had a pretty explosive game 1 to start off.
Is that just a decay?
That was an abrupt decay on the Deathrite.
Deathrite's so important to the
It's
check.
promo art.
Definitely makes sense.
Now Josh is thought
Yep,
seizing.
I think easy snap take Nissa.
Foil Glimmer.
Yeah, a little bit of glare there.
Yeah, so it's
Nissa, Wirewood,
Green
Green
Sun.
Sun Zenith.
Yeah. I would take him to Zenith.
I think that makes sense because if he gets Visionary Wirewood going, then that's one way Josh can just.
Yeah, Miles doesn't have the mana to cast Nissa, I think. And then
Cradle off the top,
I mean,
though.
he would next turn because he would cast Green Sun on 0, he had 2 more lands, so Green Sun on 0, get Arbor. And then next turn, get mana for Nissa.
so it looks like he can cast the Nissa next turn.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a
Nissa.
him.
That's a him.
That's a him to 2-rock, yeah.
I would almost return the Heritage Druid just because you'd rather have that get discarded than
Yeah.
the rest of your hand.
It would be pretty heads up from Miles, I think, for sure.
To bounce the.
Bounce Heritage Druid because it's not doing
One
anything.
more chance.
So you looks like you're gonna lose land Nissa. So you have a 1 in 3 chance of not losing the Nissa.
That was just a him off the top, right? I think
Yeah, I
that's
believe so,
huge.
yeah, that was the draw.
Well, that was clutch.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got to bounce.
Now we're gonna
Heritage Druid.
see. Is Miles just gonna do okay?
Oh.
Miles either missing it or valuing the Druid.
No, I don't think Miles is. What is it? Because even though it gives you a 33% chance.
Right.
Fatal Push takes out Wirewood Symbiotes.
Oh.
Scavenging
Ooze.
Ooze. This is a great position for the Ooze.
Yeah.
So this is a really good position for Ooze. Miles just has to kind of dodge some removal.
Oh,
the
another
pushes.
Fatal
Get
Push.
rid of get that
All
Death
the
Rate. Yeah, I
pushes.
think you should have definitely just eaten the Death Rate immediately. Play on Colligan's command.
Yeah.
Well, you can't.
Because you only 2.
Oh, he only had to. Yeah.
You're not gonna work beating Lightning Bolt. So.
Do we know what is in Miles's hand? No.
I think it's the card he drew off the top.
So we got to shuffle off the ponder here.
we're gonna see.
Looks like Crater Hoof.
Josh is so far ahead on cards here. It'll be interesting to see if Miles can pull it back in.
It's a lightning bolt for Josh.
Oh,
Lightning bolts. Pretty good.
It's a very efficient answer to Miles's cards. Heritage Druid still chipping in.
oh,
Shaman.
the shaman. The shaman for 2.
Oh, nope.
No, Shaman for
Shaman.
1.
One.
Yeah.
It's
There's a
funny because
roadblock for Miles now with the Baleful Strix.
Miles gets a lot of flack for running Shaman in the pack, but then it's like, oh, but when you're up against Bridge or all these other things,
Interesting trade-off there.
Yeah, reach for the deck is not bad.
Not sure I like the trade since Josh is already up with the Baleful Strix.
well, because Miles is just in top deck mode. I don't think you should have. I think you're right. It's not. You don't have to trade.
I think you just wait, and then it's a target for natural order if you have something better to get.
Oh, thank you for the follow.
Also, I think the way Miles gets out of it is he needs to draw a glimpse and then another creature, and the way you can really get that chain going is having Heritage Druid around.
Ren's run Packmaster. If he top decks that,
He's
then
a
that would be a
champion.
nice thing to champion.
Also, turns off his Cradle, and that doesn't tap for mana.
And then he can start pumping out wolves, and Josh doesn't really have an answer to that. Outside of,
It's 3 to green.
he could play a kicked marsh casualties to
Oh,
get
yeah.
rid of the wolves, but it's certainly not his first plan.
There's probably a deluge. Is there a deluge in the deck?
No, only marsh casualties.
Interestingly, no, yeah.
Yeah, there's actually no deluges
So
in
it's
Josh's deck.
Collective Brutality instead of the deluge.
It's sort of an interesting
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because usually it's.
Well, he does have the main deck Marsh Casualties
Yeah,
as well, so that's a little more.
Yeah, so it's usually it's you see like the Marsh.
Is that the EE in hand?
It's the only. I think it's the only
Yeah, it is.
brown card
Yeah,
in his
it's
deck.
like
Looks like a
Josh's.
force a little too.
He has 2 forces, I think. Miles has 2 Crater's Hoofs, and he's fetching the Druid Arbor.
Crater.
Well, Monks is at 9, so this is an uncounterable creature. And Josh has used up a lot of removal spells already.
Yeah. Also, it looks like he has Decay in hand.
Awkward against a land.
But it's got Collective Brutality.
EE, Decay,
No,
Batter
but
Skull.
it does not
Or not
affect
BN,
Brutality,
no,
that
it's
went
not.
back.
Brainstorm. I just saw
Looks like a
BN.
Is that a Heritage Druid off the top
Yep.
there? Yeah.
That's a Heritage Druid off the top.
I think if he runs it out, try to get up to 8 mana.
Yeah, I think
5/5 would be good on this board.
Miles likes to do a lot of things main phase 1. I'd like to see him swing and just see what happens. Yeah, there we go.
Gearing up to cast. I think the Nettle Sentinel's up front.
No, that's Heritage
That's the
Druid.
Okay.
I don't think he has a Nettle Sentinel.
Okay.
I think he just has 2 hoofs in a land.
Weird arts.
And Cradle, second Cradle.
Oh, second Cradle. Gotcha.
Yeah. Brainstorm. Man, hand spotting's like really challenging.
I mean, it was more challenging when I was doing it for the Enchantress deck. It was like, oh, cast a
Yeah.
spell.
Oh, so we got
draw
King
3
Command,
cards.
Snap, and
Oh,
polluted
man, I had
off of the
easiest
Brainstorm.
Job. Josh
Yeah.
just like drew a mountain and played it, and no cards in hand.
Yeah, I was like, I'm happy there wasn't any brainstorms, but like, oh,
Yeah,
Enchantress.
yeah.
He had like 8 cards in hand. I was like, I'm just gonna wait till.
Wait,
this
K
guy
Command?
If,
K
if
Command.
Miles gets another Cradle, he can just hard cast a Crater Hoof.
I think he
That's
has
the
the
plan.
Cradle in
That's the
hand.
plan.
So you go, so
But the thing is, I think we're gonna see his board get pretty cleared.
because you got a K command, you got 2 forces, Bolt, Snapcaster.
All right, Snapcaster's gonna get a push.
Yep.
And it clears out Heritage Druid.
And then you just bolt the Arbor.
Yeah. I mean, I think you need to snap.
And
kick
there
Snapcaster.
goes Dried Arbor, setting the forest on fire.
Swing for 2.
Josh's gonna just land go, holding up a bunch of answers.
Miles had another forest off the top. I'm a little surprised that Miles didn't have Choke in his deck, but he must have thought Josh was likely to not play island decks.
I think he's probably had him on Eldrazi or Death and Taxes.
Yeah. Josh definitely favored the Chalice decks.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to find a Chalice deck that also plays islands.
Yeah.
You can't really pirate Stompy.
Merfolk?
Not with that attitude.
You could see Stompy.
I mean, also play some Tezzerator too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tezzerator's probably the most likely of all the.
So you got like Mox Diamond, Ancient Tomb, and Dual Lands in the same deck.
and a
There's
lot of
some notes
solid
about the
artifacts.
food that we have tonight in our internal chat. So is this buy back a creature and make you discard, or is it?
Making discard.
Oh, damage.
Yeah, I think it's damage because making him, if he's holding 3 cards in hand for the last 4 turns, making him discard one's not gonna do much.
Yeah, because if he's not playing him, you already know that.
Probably dead. It's easy. But I'll probably try to get him dead before he starts casting Crater Hoofs.
Pendlehaven. Oh, that's not huge.
No. That's 1 more mana.
1, 2,
all it
3,
is.
4, 5.
Oh, the real beat's getting in for 3 now. And a Death Ray Shaman. Alright, Miles' window is shutting down.
Ooh,
Nissa.
this is Nissa.
Bad.
Hardcast Force of Will,
Yeah,
though. Oh.
grossy.
Invocation Voices. Gross.
If they're Invocation, does that mean he's borrowing from Brian Bennett, or?
I think that means there's borrowing from Brian Bennett. I don't know. I think him and Tom are the only people who can bear those Force of Will.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
Tom's.
It's probably Tom.
Because he was borrowing from Tom.
Yeah.
I know he was gathering cards on Thursday from Tom Lynch.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's the elf.
So the cool thing is, I think
The
Pendlehaven
defecto,
can actually
yeah.
start pumping the Baleful Strix. Oh,
Yeah.
Miles is going to scoop it up here. So that was not a clean sweep.
Yeah.
Josh just took on Elves.
And Miles has to stick with elves now.
So I don't think Miles should be just showing his sideboard tech because he still has. Okay, there he goes. Still has a few other games to go. Which card was that, Strifro? The blue one, or the one that Josh casted, was a Yu-Gi-Oh! Force of Will. And then the card that Miles just accidentally revealed from his sideboard is
That was an
Abrupt Decay.
Yeah.
Was that an accidental reveal, or was that the one that he played on the second
Yeah, I
turn
mean,
of the
It was
game?
known in terms
It
of
might have been that he pulled it out of the graveyard and just left it face up, but.
yeah, in which case,
It is good he's face down in these because he doesn't want to show his whole board.
right.
Yeah, I tend to, after a round, show my opponent what I boarded in and out. But in this Conquest style, you really don't want to be showing off what you have. So that means Josh has retired his first deck.
Yep.
We had
No
check
more check pile.
pile show up, and that is gone.
Unfortunately, things get a lot harder now for Miles because both of Josh's remaining decks
Yep.
These are the
very well geared towards beating elves.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are the ones that he specially built through together for taking on elves.
This is where Josh's comeback can start to actually happen here.
So Josh is going to be choosing between Moon Stompy, which he's already played twice, and White Eldrazi.
Ooh, how powerful did Pile look there, man?
Yeah.
He was ripping.
The thing is, Miles had the window to get rid of the Lily game 1, and he didn't kill the Lily off.
Right.
And that was the one.
You missed that Nettle Sentinel.
Yeah, but that was the one turn where he has to get the Lily off the board because he can't win through Lily. That's.
Do you want the soft chair?
Yeah.
Do you want a soft chair?
Yeah.
Okay, Jeremy was offering.
Swap me, man. Come on.
I'll swap. This is
No, you're doing good.
don't switch to the booth yet.
We're doing great.
Oh wait, you need deck lists. Now we got pro casters in the.
Bring it back to the booth here, folks. Michael Tessier, Jeremy Edwards, Mike Wallio, and Jordan Isaka.
I'm just chowing down on some delicious desserts that were supplied by the Wallios.
Filipino desserts today, folks.
Oh yeah.
You know, wherever you are, unfortunately, there might not be a Filipino bakery around you, but you know what?
Find one.
Oh yeah, this
So
is
delicious.
fantastic.
I just had my first ever puto leche with ube flavor. Oh my goodness, guys. Puto leche. Look that up.
Yeah, look it up.
Look it up. Okay.
Learn yourself today.
back
Learn
to
yourself.
the magic. Folks, you are tuned in to our third Seattle Showdown. This is a 1v1 matchup. 3 legacy decks each for our 2 competitors, Josh Monks, Miles Wallio. And the record is 2-1. Miles just has to win with his Elves deck in order to complete this matchup. Josh, meanwhile, has to win now with Moon Stompy and White Taxes, Eldrazi Thalia Taxes. So
it looks like Josh is on the Eldrazi. taxes
wow.
here.
He does not like this moon deck.
What do we think of this matchup, guys? Let's send it down because they're about to start. What do we think of this matchup, guys? White Eldrazi Taxes against Elves.
Well, you're playing Death and Taxes.
No. Ordinarily,
You're playing. I'm
No,
just
he's
saying.
all in on the Displacer Containment Priest.
look
combo.
at the quad Containment Priest main deck and shudder in fear.
That's true. That's
Wow.
true.
Quad
but
Containment Priest. How you? No natural ordering. No Green Sun Zenith thing.
that's true.
Also, look at how many mana ramp he has to supplement Chalice.
That's also.
There's
Oh
a full
yeah.
play set of Mox Diamonds.
Oh,
and
for Chalice the
Lotus
Woods?
Petals on top of that.
Whoa.
So
Okay, that-
Turbo
that can be-
Chalice is gonna be
right.
a constant.
It's going to be one of those things where he needs to draw the correct half of his deck. I mean, it looks like most of his deck is the correct half, but he still is going to need to draw it, whatever that half may or may not be.
So
Does Miles have any caverns in his elf list? Because
I think
know
so.
they used to run
Well,
caverns.
he doesn't have any main deck abrupt decays.
No
so if
caverns.
There's a Chalice.
No caverns.
He's gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, no caverns. Because I know that his caverns are in his Goblins deck.
No, he actually owns a bunch of caverns.
it's funny.
MBM.
So, okay, folks, to recap here, we've got Miles Wallio on Elves. He just has to win one of the next 2 rounds with Elves. Meanwhile, Josh is trying to win both of the next rounds with this White Eldrazi Taxes variant and then Moon Stompy after this if he is victorious. Taking a look at their hands, starting 7, here comes Miles with that Deathray Shaman.
with that turn 1 banned card on Monday. Really excited to see that card make a splash right now in the current metagame.
Chalice on 1, no Cavern of Souls on Miles' side.
But he does have a banned card, which is in play, and somehow got underneath the Chalice of the Void. So, I'm just kidding. But
Taking a look at the rest of Josh's hand, he's got Mox Diamond, Tomb, and Plains.
He
And a
kept this-
Thought Knot Seer. So just on the strength of this Chalice and a Thought Knot Seer, oh, now he's got a Smasher as well.
it's clobbering time. Draw for Miles, and it looks like he's got a Cradle and Arbor, a Glimpse. The Glimpse of Nature, not so great here with the Chalice in 1. Miles has 1 activation with Deathrite Shaman for a mana, and I think he's just kind of thinking about what to do. Oh, he's going to activate for 2, and I think this is an Elvish Visionary. Vision is scary.
Visionary. These don't match up that well against a 4/4 body of Thought Knot Seer.
They don't. The big body of Thought Knot really showing how powerful it can be now. That being said, Natural Order next turn potentially. Top deck's part of the deck.
And there is that Thought Knot Seer hitting the battlefield. Miles is going to have to reveal his hand and give up something. Crater Hoof.
Oh, there's a Nissa too.
Nissa.
Wow. And
Is that a glimpse as well?
a glimpse in a. What's next to the glimpse? We don't know. The glare is blinding.
It's a shaman. Looks like
Oh, Shaman of the Pack.
Deathray.
Another Deathray Shaman and a
Oh,
Gaia's
another. What is that? What do they call those?
Cradle. Deathray Shaman.
Band. Another Deathrite Shaman, of course.
How confident are you that we'll see a Deathray band there?
I'd say 20%.
20%?
Yeah, 20% likely that we're going to see a Deathrite ban, which is not very confident, I guess. But
So you want 5-1 or 4-1 odds on
I
Monday?
want 5 to 1.
No, 4.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
4-1. 4-1 odds?
I could do. Yeah, 4 to 1 maybe.
Do we
Yeah,
have,
4 to 1.
All right, we'll talk about
People
it.
saying
Okay.
in chat.
I'll think about it.
Do a 5 spot versus a 20.
Yeah, that's 4-1, isn't it?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Oh yeah, you should think about that.
Okay, so he's taking the.
He took the Crater Hoof,
I think-
and I think the Nissa is actually what you want to take here.
Because the Nissa comes down this turn.
Yeah, and it can
with
make
the
like
Cradle.
it can make 5/5s, which are big. Like, have you ever
1, 2,
seen
3,
a 5/5 before?
4, 5. Nissa's coming in.
5/5 lands are bigger than a Thought Knot.
And same size as Reality Smasher. I mean, what?
Oh yeah.
Wait,
Uh-oh.
wait. He's retacking
Uh-oh. Natural.
Make a bunch more mana.
More mana.
Oh
Ooh,
my
vision
goodness.
is scary.
Draw.
Miles just showing
The
his
tricks.
skill.
Yeah,
He's
that
floating
visionary.
One green thing. Green still, I think.
Yeah.
There's a birch.
Oh, actually, he was floating 2 because he the guy's cradle was a creature itself, so it tapped for 4. Yeah, it's really crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy, but baby. Never mind, dude. You know slow jams. Come on, man. You would know.
Does it stay for until the next turn? Right?
Yes, it does. It's still a 5/5. So if he has dismember, he can lock and load.
But Miles is able to if the Smasher comes down, he's able to just trade with Smasher with
Now,
one of his lands.
Here's one of the weird things. If you're Miles, you're just like looking at your opponent's deck, going, "Oh yeah, you're not playing. You're not playing white. You're not playing anything tricky." Mox Diamond comes down. Oh, there's a Plains. Never mind. Battle.
Time to block.
Yep, I think this is a pretty easy block
Under the
here.
bus.
Oh, Sanctum
Sanctum
Prelate.
Prelate. Wow.
Sanctimony. Oh, it's
4.
going on 4.
So taking care of any natural orders.
Yes, sir.
And
I
that's
would
it.
Put it on 9 to stop the Green Sun.
9. 9.
Green Sun for your
Then you just
Crater Hoof.
green sun on 10.
So Josh is trying not to die here.
Yes, he is on a
essentially.
defensive plan here instead
Wow.
of the rush down.
Wait, why is he grabbing the tiny die? Why not grab the die we can read?
I think he thought about that and then he changed his mind. Oh, he's floating green.
There's a lot
So
of green.
he's up to 7, 8 Crater Hoof.
Oh,
man!
wow!
Hardcastle,
Off the
Josh
top.
Buck's backing it up. We're going to game 2.
That was nasty.
Folks, this is it. Miles Wallio is one game away from taking this entire showdown away from Josh Muggs. He must win the next 2 with this White Eldrazi Taxes deck against Miles' Elves.
And he still also has to
Odds were
win
not in
with the
favor.
dragon.
Yeah, that was a sick rip.
And now,
Sick.
it's noteworthy to say, Miles chose 3 decks tonight that he was really comfortable with.
Yeah.
And in every round, I think we've seen Miles show off his experience with the decks.
That's true.
He knew exactly what to do with that Nissa. I'm going to untap and get this visionary draw.
Yeah.
Right? And if he hadn't gotten that one extra draw, we're not seeing the Crater Hoof Behemoth, right?
Now, at the same time, if you look at Josh, I don't think Josh is playing suboptimally.
Right.
I don't think he is. I think that he's playing the decks that are pinning his opponent on. He's playing the good matchups. He feels good about the matchup.
Josh has
but
been playing really tight.
he just doesn't. I mean, I think the other issue is that the decks don't allow him to give him that ability to play in a manner that really shows off like his full skill and potential.
Yeah, and the one deck that does, check Pio, we just saw him win.
Oh, yeah, he just like womp womp. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of interesting that he didn't choose his Mythstill deck for one of these.
Right,
considering
Josh,
he's running
well known
that.
for playing a blue-white standstill deck that uses Myth Realized and Mishra's Factory.
Yeah, the Myth still, or he also plays a lot of the Stoneblade variants.
Oh, Terminus, that's the main card that he'd be
Oh, yeah.
leading on with all of
Yeah, that'd be a big-time card here.
Daniel never wins, pointing out that the top of the deck is part of the deck, as he so often does. I have seen some miracle draws from him as well.
If you ever watch Julian play as well, it's always you just
double emblem.
Mm.
Yeah.
you just you just call it like, okay, well, what wins here? Crater Hoof. Okay, well, Crater Hoof.
So taking a look at our sideboarding action here.
Yeah.
It looks like we're getting 3 Abrupt Decays and a Ren's Run Packmaster coming in.
Ooh.
For Miles' side. And then Spirit, Warping Whale, Double Canonist. Now, what spirit is this?
Spirit of the Labyrinth.
Spirit of the Labyrinth. Okay, great.
That would have been really good matching up against the Enchantress deck if Josh had opted for that matchup.
Oh, it's really good here too for cutting off Glimpse, and then Visionary kind of is also because it'll prevent him from being able to draw off Visionary or Glimpse.
Miles gets to play with 4x Demonic Tutor main. It's not fair. Well, sometimes you gotta play your deck like it's built. And we're gonna see both players shuffling up as they go into game number 2. I think Miles actually has a injury suffered or sustained while being a wizard battler. Looks like his ring finger on his right hand. So maybe
he might have cut a finger on his sleeve.
His wand hand, his wand dominant hand. The one that holds the spellbook. It could potentially be.
Hand.
Yeah,
no,
it
actually
could.
The spellbook goes in your left because you turn pages with the right.
Well said. If you guys are watching at home, how do you cast your spells, right hand or left hand? And would a damaged finger potentially give you, like it's like a sports injury? He's playing on a day-to-day basis. He might have to go on the disabled list. But it looks like he's shuffling up right now. He's ready to go.
Does he get Mage's Comp?
I don't know if he gets maybe he gets Mage's Comp. Maybe he gets a certain amount of sick days. Injury recovery. You're ambidextrous. I met the Hackbert at the 5K.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a cool dude. He was telling me about how I suck in Magic cards.
Oh,
and he's
nice.
kind of right. Yeah, he's kind of right. He's like, you're not very good, and I'm like,
Actually, I think Jordan's pretty good. It's just Jordan likes to play fun cards, which.
No, he was kidding. He knows I'm amazing. He knows I'm the best.
It's just sometimes it's fun to play with underpowered cards and see whether or not you can make it.
Yeah, that's true. All right, turn 1 planes from Josh Monks. We've got Bayou Korean Ranger. So, the undervalued start, as Daniel Wen would say.
Yeah, it's kind of a weaker start.
Korean Ranger underestimated most of the time. I think Josh was thinking about whether he wanted to play that Eldrazi Temple, but looks like it is in play.
Does Monks have a Containment Priest?
Oh, he totally does. Yep. You know what? I've actually ambushed Miles a bunch of times when he's attacking like this. So
I don't think Miles is gonna expect the Containment Priest.
yeah.
Oh man.
Oh
I think
he's tapped his
Green
creatures.
Sun.
He tapped his creatures. That's if a Green Sun here would be pretty devastating though. Or he might just be playing stuff out. Okay. 2 floating. And if I'm Josh, I'm just thinking, man, I just have to play this at EOT, which is kind of unfortunate because he wants to either get
some
value. Yeah, he wants some value off of the flash.
But if you Green Sun or if you splash in response to Green Sun, they can just fail to find, right?
That's
Yes, but you still don't lose the spell. He's untapping and he might be battling.
Wait, no, he can't. Oh, he has another query.
Whoa, weird.
So both are used. This is.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Look at all this mana.
The master.
Natural order.
Renzren Packmaster.
Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh. This could be a problem. Packmaster coming in and championing. Oh, and Ender Turn Containment. And he did have the Containment Priest, but no value for Josh.
But if you kill the Renron's Packmaster,
the champion trigger will not happen. But I mean, a 5/5, it makes Death Touchers, correct? And a Reality Smasher comes in.
It makes Death Touching Wolves.
That's a problem.
The Smasher is big.
Death Touch is a problem for Eldrazi.
Absolutely. Does he have the Guy's Cradle to make 30 majillion mana?
Oh, I was really hoping for the Guy's Cradle.
Yeah, but that's all right. I mean, to be honest, it looks like Miles is going to have access to a bunch of cards here. Is he attacking?
I think he's just making a wolf.
He's making a wolf?
He's floating 3.
So Death Touch Wolves.
Certainly on the menu. Nettle Sentinel. 1 less. So he might just make 3 more elves and then make another.
He can also.
Oh, yeah, he can also block. He can also bounce to untap. That's totally true. Tap for a green. Okay, I see this.
Maybe not a bounce.
I think he's debating: do you bounce the land or do you bounce with the Wirewood?
I think that this is one of the really underestimated positions that elves can get into, where it looks like they have a bunch of little dudes and they don't look very threatening, but these board states are actually where elves are just terrifying.
All right, so here's the activation on Korean Ranger, maybe.
Yeah, I think he's still thinking. He's got all of his single turn elf activations up. He can go ahead and do whatever he wants. He's going to go ahead and bounce this land to untap. He's going to go ahead and make a bunch more mana, I think. Okay.
All right, so here's 4. So this will be a wolf and likely this other symbiote.
I think.
There's
yeah.
symbiote.
Oh, mismatching.
And you get to untap.
And
then there's a
2, he's gonna make a
Wolf,
wolf.
right?
He's gonna make a
Death
wolf
Touch
here.
Wolf.
Yes,
Miles
sir.
actually purposefully mismatches his because.
Oh, I see. I don't understand why. Because that's like the card that's actually tricky.
Wait, is that actually a wolf token? No.
Yeah, I think that's a wolf. No, it might be a beast.
We actually have a bunch of Death Touch Wolf tokens.
Get those Death Touch Wolves on the battlefield.
Yeah, they're so good.
Get him. Get him. I don't know where they are.
But it's a tough spot if you're Josh. You're just thinking, wow, I'm sitting behind my opponent's got Death Touch, and he lets him untap.
Well, you can't attack.
Yeah,
into
you
this.
can't
don't wanna
attack.
Trade off your Smasher.
He really needs a GT. He just doesn't have access to a ton.
Look at Monks' hand. It's so sad. He has 2 Wastelands, and they can't Wasteland.
Yeah, with the double protection from Quarian Dryad.
No, he's pointing out should that be untapped.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
It got untapped from
Yeah.
the Quarian Ranger.
So if I'm Miles, I think I would start swinging with the Death Touch Wolf.
Well,
I think you could just start generating a whole bunch of wolves.
Yeah, because the thing
Yeah.
is, he can't. If he blocks, he loses something he values, where you don't lose anything, and you can just make wolves at instant speed.
Caracas.
Oh, interesting. And that is a legendary, correct? Ranger and Packmaster?
It's not.
It's not? Wow.
Feels like it should be.
Yeah, it feels like it should be,
It
but
doesn't have a name, right?
Start making wolves. Oh my goodness. Summon the pack right here.
yeah, Adam is correctly identified the Flood. Halo reached the Flood.
The Flood wasn't in reach.
I know. I was a joke.
Josh is back to looking a little
Not
worried
so.
here.
Yeah, he looks. I mean, he's gonna need a lot of help here off the top.
Josh looks so serious.
Yeah. I mean, the other issue is he just has so many lands in hand, and there's not really cards that can rescue him from this position, right? It doesn't even matter that Miles went ahead and he just had the Packmaster at a really inopportune time, and a Crater Hoof was the draw.
Hoof off the top.
The other thing I'd like to point out is that Miles has done all of this with 1 land. He has exactly 1 land in play.
The Quarian Ranger, you're like, is it because he only has 1 land, or is
Yeah, the Quarian Ranger just did so much work.
Oh, Thalia, Guardian of Thraben for Josh.
I mean,
that is just not anything.
Well, actually,
the
that
first
can start
strike is
blocking
important.
wolves.
Yeah, but
That's not gonna stop this.
he needs. Yeah, he really needs GT. He really needs swords. He needed swords like yesterday. He needs
some sweeper action.
engineered explosives. He has Hushwing Griffs. Yeah, the issue is that if he Blessed Alliance, maybe Warping Whale, he needs like a engineered explosives. The card he needs to have. He's playing Thalia here,
and so he took the 6.
He has an Eye of Ugin, so if there's a card he can get with Eye of Ugin, like
he doesn't have any real top end like Ulamog.
Well, can't he start
he
getting
only has his
Displacer?
Endbringer.
He can get Displacer.
I mean, Endbringer is pretty strong.
He could get Displacer. That's a great suggestion.
Because then he can start getting rid of the Packmaster and the other things, and then
can't do it this turn though. He's gonna need to do it now.
1, 2, 3, 4,
he's
5.
Gonna take 6 this next turn or 8, and then Miles can just alpha. It's a shaman.
Shaman of the pack, and that's gonna be game.
I think that
Miles Wallio has actually locked up this Legacy Grudge match.
I feel like you just gotta sit on that side of the table because that side's been the winning side of the table.
Welcome back to the
Monks
booth, guys.
Crushed.
Yeah, just an absolute. Yeah, he just looked like he went down. It went down. It was a tough
Monks
spot
is
for him to
looking
be
kind of
in.
Disbelief
Monks brought the hate.
He brought
the main deck hate for these decks.
And
it just matched up poorly for him at almost every turn.
Yeah,
he even knew exactly. He called what decks Miles was going to bring.
He knew the exact 3 decks that Miles was going to bring, and just had a hard time stopping it. And I think that like it was in a position. He was in a position where if he gave him a chance to, because he's a really skillful pilot. I think if he had Brainstorm, maybe he has better options, better chances. But
the roughest was definitely that Goblins Moon Stompy matchup where he just he had a great hand. He played it out as you should, leading with Chalice, etc.
And then it was Jabberlacky go.
Yeah,
every card Miles was playing was just the direct counter. Turn 1 Cavern of Souls, name Goblin, play Goblin Lackey. Sting Scourger to bounce the
blocker, and then get in
with
Lackey. It was just an
Tuck Scrapper to destroy the Chalice.
It was pretty insane. So I just, overall, it was one of those times where the deck familiarity really won out for Miles and was helpful for him over the course of the entire match. And I think if you're in Josh's position, you're thinking like, geez, how did this happen? You know?
Well, and it looked like, especially after the Kolagon's command, or after the check pile game,
Yeah.
it looked like Josh was going to be on easy street with his last 2 decks, because both of them are just teched out to beat elves, and that really went wrong for him.
He really wanted to pin Miles back on playing elves.
I mean,
he really wanted,
4 main deck containment priests, crikey. That is
main deck containment priests and main deck 4 Chalice the Voids and just
Thalia 2.0 and GK and had a lot of really great cards here.
It's just so powerful, and you just have so many good cards for these matchups. And
Aether Flash.
Yeah, Aether Flash in his red deck, which looked really great as well. And so
the Aether Flash was hilarious.
Yeah, that was crazy, and I was really happy because I remember we were always talking about tech to figure out how to beat elves.
Did Aether Flash ever actually kill a creature?
Well, he didn't play into it. He never played.
Did we ever get to see it kill something in the games that Josh had it?
He never played into it.
I think
because why would he? Why would he though?
Because when Miles was on Enchantress, he had the Enchantresses in hand.
Yeah, or he had the presence.
That's super tragic.
Well, he got the presence down. No, but it's like Miles was discarding the regular Enchantress.
Because
he's like these are dead.
Yeah.
Just make it Pyroclasm.
I mean, at this point, Aether Flash was the right card. It was the right call.
Seemed
across all of the
paper,
decks. Yeah.
But man, we didn't get to see it do it.
Oh boy. Oh brother, guys. Anyways,
Miles with the clutch disenchant in that goblin.
Wow,
game.
how sick was that on turn 2? Just game 2 goblin. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna get both of the challengers in the casting booth here. We're probably gonna go and talk to Josh Monks first.
Monks is looking a little frustrated.
Yeah, he looks like he has not. I would love to talk to him because I'm sure
like how did this happen when I I called all the decks. I metagamed for all the decks.
And that's frustrating too. When you do so much work and you can pin your opponent on decks X, Y, and Z, it's frustrating because you're like I knew these matchups were good. I'm like a 70-30, and yet the RNG just gets away from you.
This is a little bit of a route. This is the third of these showdowns we've had, and the previous ones all went to the rubber match.
Yeah, went to match 5, but it was.
And this one was pretty swingy, and
it looks
like Monks was just gonna get swept. Surprisingly.
Oh, Miles Wallio, the champion.
It's because I moved my name to the top.
Oh, okay, Miles.
Move your name to the top and sit on the window side of the
Miles,
because that side seems to be the winning side.
Please have a seat. Let me go ahead and first congratulate you for a match well played and just well executed decks, smart choices and decisions. You played. It looked like you played what was comfortable to you.
Yeah.
You know what the decks that if I were to play you in an event, I'd be like, I'm gonna put you on these various decks. You're comfortable with those. Those are the decks that you can really draw a lot of fear from other players in. Mm-hmm. Right, so congratulations in that regard.
Thank you.
What was your approach going in? Was that kind of your mindset?
I think the only changes that I made were I took out a Mindbreak Trap from Elves.
Okay.
And then I kept in both Leovold and the Rensren Packmaster.
Okay.
And then in Goblins, I switched to the red-white version just for disenchants.
So. Oh, wow, yeah, and obviously disenchant coming up miles ahead of any other card you could have in that spot, disenchanting that Aether Flash. What was your thought on, it was kind of crazy because I remember...
You saw the opening hand, right?
Yeah, yeah. And actually, it was slow. It was, not very quick. You didn't have turn 1 Lackey.
I think the earliest card drop was the turn 4 Ringleader.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I have uncounterable spells, but if he gets Aether Flash, I lose. So I'm like... turn 2 disenchant and turn 4 ringleader, that doesn't feel too bad. So.
Right. Especially when he's playing that Moon Stompy style deck, which is a little sluggish. I mean, it's not going to close the game out quickly.
Yeah,
right?
He's not going to, other than Fiery Confluence, he's not going to race my board.
Right, and he's going to try to control the board a little bit and then gain advantage via Planeswalkers and static cards on board. right? Hazard and stuff. So it was just like it was kind of interesting. We were talking up here in the booth. Your matchups. Specifically goblins versus that deck, as well as Enchantress, and we weren't actually sure how those decks were going to function and how they're going to mesh. But you did a really good job in understanding the capabilities of your deck going along.
Yeah, and then I felt really awkward because so he had Chalice on 2, and I remembered Aether Flash, and I was like, my Enchantresses are just going to enter the board and die, so I'm going to discard them to my solitary confinements. And then I get rid of everything, and I'm like, Green Sun Zenith for 2, and there's nothing left in the deck.
Yeah, I think at that point we were actually considering if you went to go for Gadok Teague. I wasn't sure if you sided it in or not.
Teague was sided in. The issue was I had Teague in hand, and I also had Helm of Obedience and Rest in Peace already out.
Oh, I see. So you wanted to get the Helm down before, so you can go ahead and win that way. I see. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Jordan wanted to see the Teague.
Yeah, we were talking about how like it looked like almost a hard lock. Like he couldn't play any 4s, so his win conditions were off. His sweeper was off. He just played K-Return.
Well, I think, at that point I had 2 Doomwake Giants out. So he couldn't, any Planeswalker is just going to die. I think Fiery Confluence might be able to do 6 damage and kill both. But at that point, I already have the solitary confinements as well. So it's kind of like in that position, I think Monk's only way out is for me to deck myself. So
I see. I totally understand. So you might as well just go for the win there, right?
Yeah.
You have a planned line that takes care of your opponent in that. Cool.
So I was really happy that the decks that I'm familiar with and that I chose. I was gonna. So what is it? There's a bunch of metagaming people do where it's like Daniel brought Red Black Reanimator, Show and Tell, and his trademark elves to the battle, and it's kind of like I was debating about doing that.
Yeah.
And then I put monks on Myth Still, Check Pile, and Show and Tell, and then I only hit one of those decks. So I'm so glad I didn't try metagaming there.
Yeah. It's one of those things where being comfortable in the deck you're playing certainly gives you some advantages. Especially when you enter into a position where the games are complex and confusing. I think that when games go long and you start top decking, you're more understanding of your outs because your deck feels so much more familiar. When you're drawing off of a deck list that someone gave you, you're just kind of like, oh, do I play that? Do I play? How can I actually applicate this card in such a way that gives me an opportunity to win? When
you're wishing for Through the Breach.
Yeah, and Dan never wins. Throws out a great point. That's why you play Magic is you don't know what's going to happen. And
I was really shocked at the tech that Monks brought in for that Moon Stompy deck.
Really sick.
He was really excited about that card leading up to this event.
He put that in, and I was like, "What is that?" I was like, "How do I win?"
Yeah, Dan Never Win says, "Googled Aether Flash." Gotta respect the Jeremy Edwards level tech.
I own that card. I've played it. It's very powerful if people are not expecting it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I was definitely not expecting it. I was so happy I let off with Enchantress because it's the one deck where it only hits 4 things. So.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
So Miles, one last question for you, Miles. What kind of advice would you give to someone thinking about taking on a Showdown challenge? Do you think that they should stick with triple comfort picks like you did, or try to metagame harder like Josh did? Do you think there's a right or wrong strategy?
I don't think there's a right or wrong strategy. So originally I was gonna metagame, but my big issue was if I bring in Storm, I don't know how to play around Force of Will. I don't know how all the different paths like James Johnson would. If I brought in Show and Tell, and then it's I got a Thought Knot Seer that take away a key piece, I'm not sure how to respond or react to that. So it's kind of, I wanted to be in the decks where I was comfortable. I do think metagaming is a key part. So it's if you saw my sideboard, that's all I changed, just sideboard cards.
Right.
So stay in my comfort zone, but at the same time, prepare for what I think is going to come.
Nice.
So
nice.
The other thing I really want to point out really quickly is if you think about the 2 decks that Dan and I got stuck on when we were playing, we both got stuck on Sneak and Show. I mean, I know that everybody says it's an 8th deck. Man, that deck is hard. It's so hard to play when someone's really applying pressure and destroying your hand. Winning with that deck, you just feel like you're a mile away. from anything. You're looking at your hand. You've got like City of Traders Island. And you're like, wow, I don't even know how this can turn around.
I like to say that it's the deck that plays you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what is it? Josh showed a lot of skill, and then he's a great commentator, and he knows all the matchups very well. Which is his card selection was spot on today.
Yeah.
It's just like he had really bad draws, and I think like familiarity with the deck and knowing like your outs is something there. Although I don't think everyone was really shocked I had Renzren Packmaster, and I think Josh was caught off guard by Renzren Packmaster.
It was really powerful. Yeah. It looked great.
A lot of people ask me why I still play it, and I think Eldrazi is the one matchup where it really shines, and it doesn't.
Wow, yeah.
It doesn't seem like it shines against Eldrazi, but 3-drop removal for a Reality Smasher or 3-drop removal for any creature in that deck is just super powerful.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and swap you out for Josh Monks.
Congratulations, Miles.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I feel like I'm graduating.
All right.
You want to go ahead and jump in the hot seat?
I'll just go grab Josh.
We want to jump in here, and you can talk to him and ask him the questions.
No, you can stay.
I purposefully looked like I was staring off into space. Poor Josh. He worked so hard. This was
definitely beating.
He told me he was playing Aether Flash like a while ago, and I was like, that card is sick. And he called all 3 decks that Miles is gonna play. If you actually like, if we go back down.
Sorry, buddy.
Josh Muggs.
That was a
Josh Muggs.
I can't complain. I thought they were interesting games, and I'm glad we got them on camera.
Yeah.
Came with the tag too.
The only one I was really salty about was the versus Goblins one, where I like had the Chalice on one, and then he's like Lackey off Cavern, and then I'm like
counter.
Magus of the Moon. I'm like pretty much sealed here, and he plays Sting Scourge. I imagine it's a one of, and then drops a Tuck Scrapper off of the Lackey Connect. That was the only one I was salty about.
Yeah.
The end game, that last one with the Eldrazi white deck, I did draw
a lot of lands.
One spell that game, so you know.
I'm sure you kept that for the Containment Priest.
So
I kept a pretty land heavy hand with Containment Priest double waste, and he started with the Query.
It looked like Miles was just gonna run into it, but when he flooded,
I knew he was counting to 4. I know how that hand works when you have the symbiote. And you bounce the 1-drop.
We were actually both talking about how you'd like to get some value either from an attack or from a creature entering the battlefield.
I do agree that you want to usually get value out of Containment Priest. The thing is, I was pretty prepared to jam a Reality Smasher the following turn.
Yeah,
and, like I can't leave up mana for the Containment Priest.
Yeah,
so
I completely agree.
Far ahead if there hadn't been Packmaster.
Yeah. And
you
just start slamming away.
The thing is I still had like probably a 3-turn window to draw an Eldrazi Displacer, which costs 1 mana, and then I get to double activate and kill 2 guys.
Yeah.
And, like, if I kill the champion guy, it still kills the creature that's been championed because of the Containment Priest. So like even in that board state, I thought I was a little comfortable. That being said, in retrospect, I boarded out a Displacer. That was definitely wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be tough to determine last card. I think I overboarded a little bit, but.
Could be.
Yeah, but what I do want to point out though is that you actually messaged me. Maybe we were driving back. It was you and I driving back from when I played against, or when we watched Dan versus Mike Wallio.
Yeah,
and you were like, I think he's going to be playing these 3 decks, and the exact 3 decks that you said he was going to play, he played.
Yeah,
you know, and you had. Like your metagame, like your matchups were like you were like 70-30 every time.
I felt like all of my decks lined up really well. I was like, once I saw his 3rd deck, I was like, oh, I think it actually doesn't matter which decks I pick here of the decks that I've chosen.
Yeah, I mean, I did feel like going to check pile was absolutely 100% correct. Really comfortable. It's a brainstorm deck which you love to play. Force Will, Him to Torok. Just a good, powerful deck.
I wanted to have more control over my loss if I'm going to get tabled.
Yeah, and
I was looking at it.
I like that.
Concerned when you switched because it's like, oh man, this deck seems so insane on paper.
Yeah.
Aether Flash and you know Chalice the Void and all that. But I was actually kind of glad you did because you know that's one of those things where you feel like you've got a lot of control. You have a lot of and then like you know Him to Torok snap. Him to Torok was insane every time it happened. Leon
it's important to set those up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the opening hand, I saw the Deathrite, I saw the Lily, I saw a removal spell. I was like 85% sure he was on Elves.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know, I think I keep this in the dark.
Yeah.
And then what happened is on the 2nd turn, he plays Glimpse of Nature and Guy's Code. I'm like, God damn, he's just going to turn to me. I didn't keep a Force Will in my hand. I just lose. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it was nice when he fizzled, and then I got to play the Lily, and then
Yeah.
kill his guys through Pendlehaven. That's like, by the way, that's like secretly one of the reasons why Last Hope is so good.
Oh
right now.
yeah, absolutely.
Because Pendlehaven will not save the creature from it. 'Cause you can uptick, and then until the next turn, it shrinks, so it just dies to state-based effects.
Right. So, all in all, I want to say thank you so much for coming out and for challenging and playing.
I'm so glad I got to play. Thanks you guys so much for casting. Jeremy, thanks for letting me entire deck.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing Wingdome, man.
Yeah.
Dude, if you guys
Wingstop.
Yeah, sorry, Wingstop. If you guys ever get the chance to try this place out, it's really good.
Logic used to work there.
Yeah. That's how you know. That's how you know.
Yeah, it's it's one of my favorite places to eat, and maybe it's kind of depressing that it is because it's kind of just like
it's
a
good,
chain,
but it's good.
It's like really good.
You're gonna call good food good. I mean, hey, that's how it goes. What I do want to go ahead and do really quickly is we're gonna go down to the tournament area, to the play area, and just kind of secretly spy on both these guys right here. You've got that's not Josh Monks or Miles Wallio. That's Kelvin Wallace and Brian Bennett, and Brian is just secretly enjoying this D20. He's really
grip,
he's really just kind of feeling it out. And so I guess the other question is, we're gonna come back to the casters really quickly.
All right.
Sorry, I just wanted to show that because I thought that was really interesting. For the next time, if you were to do it all over again, would you switch up your approach?
I would have played 4 Eldrazi Displacer in my white list. I probably would try and get a Dismember or 2 in there.
Okay, just some tweaks, maybe.
It's honestly like within 4 cards of the decks that I would bring.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna knock your card choices, your card selections. You're good. You're a really solid Death and Taxes pilot. You're a really solid Check Pile pilot. You're a really solid Moon pilot. So.
Yeah, I'm glad I got that check pile list on camera. I feel like I made a lot of meaningful decisions that game, and some of them might have looked a little strange in the booth, but then they immediately paid dividends. Like there was multiple turns that I could have killed the threat, decided not to, and then the second he committed to a bigger threat, it was Shaman of the Pack, and I could actually bolt it in response to the trigger and kind of get the same equity, but now get a 3-2 instead of a 1-1.
Yeah. So. All in all, just kind of a tough break.
Yeah, I can't complain how it went out. I mean, I feel like the last game was, that's kind of what happens in this format. But besides that, I mean, I drew Chalice in my opening hand every game. I had Threat in all the games, and I was playing Check Pile. I can't really complain about the rest of it. I feel like I drew far better than I expect to on average. I'm pretty used to double mulliganing to 5 and keeping 1 laner. It's like a City of Traders, so...
Yeah, that's tough, man. That's certainly tough.
So the 7s with the Ancient Tomb and the Mox or the Chrome Mox and the Mountain and a Chalice and a 4-drop that I can power on turn 2 is not really anything I can complain about, so...
I think the next question is, who are the next fighters?
Yeah, that's
who are the
the
next
question.
warriors? Who are the next? And we probably should go ahead and pull the pool of players. We've got a relatively large legacy group. If you want to go ahead and join the group, go ahead and shoot me a PM via Facebook. I'll go ahead and get you guys an add onto our group. We've got about 100 people or so, and we're trying to get these bet matches going. We're playing at the Wallio compound. It's an awesome place. We're gonna go back down really quickly just so I can show you how awesome it is.
Yeah, we have M25 packs on the table.
Yeah, our coverage is pretty awesome. We've got Brian Bennett. He's still playing with the same dice. We've got Kelvin Wallace. Kelvin Wallace is actually organizing the packs. They have to go specifically Azusa, Jace, Azusa, and they're about.
They go all the way down.
Yeah, they probably do. They probably do.
All the way down.
And so I think the question is, who plays next? Is it Adam Prout? Are you possibly?
I don't know.
Is it you and Jeremy?
You and
the
Jeremy?
in the booth?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, are you guys just gonna turn and and kiss or something, or what's gonna happen here?
Oh really?
Oh yeah, Brian Bennett. There's
exciting,
an outstanding challenge that could be happening. I think the question is, what happens next? Who plays next? The Wallios have played. Yeah. We have.
Brian Bennett.
Hold on, yeah. Why don't we go ahead and show you guys? We're back in the cast.
Jeremy Edwards.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Man, that would be a
I think it's Brian Bennett.
Yeah, there's a challenge. There's an issued challenge.
I really want to see Adam versus.
This is the first time.
Oh man.
That would get weird.
You're right.
Yeah.
Brother.
I want the.
There was no show and tell action either one of us. That's what I like.
That's gonna be a long.
Yeah, we will probably be here till like 1 a.m.
They should play all the same cards.
Yeah.
We
All
both
the same.
play fast.
They would. No, it was a joke. It was a total
It
joke.
would take we get to turn 5. Somebody would resolve something and be like, nope, we're done.
Here's the other side. We gotta get Tim Wilder versus Ali and Salvador. Well, actually, it'll be a multi-day event.
I was gonna say, you gotta start
You gotta qualify for day 2. And
Yeah.
I want to see
guys.
I want to see Tom
Oh my
versus
goodness.
Kelvin get the next generation.
Oh god.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll
That's a
take
great
her
one.
for
Yeah.
the King of
Tom
the-
versus Kelvin.
All right.
They can
well,
they can play for their week's allowance.
I think we're phantom drafting downstairs if you guys want.
Oh,
yeah,
we're gonna
I'm
go
in.
ahead. They're gonna go ahead and draft downstairs, guys. I'm gonna
See
go
you
ahead and
guys.
show you. Oh wait, whoops.
wrong one.
Hold on, players. Yeah, we've got. Oh, and Brian Bennett has stopped playing with that giant D20. It's a miracle. It's an absolute miracle, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick sign off. Why don't
Thanks
you go
for
ahead and
tuning
join?
in.
Oh. Hey,
Sit
everyone.
with me. Sit with me,
Thank
sir.
you so much for watching another Seattle Showdown tonight. We had a really great time. We got to see some great Magic played. Make sure you hit the follow button to know when we go live next, probably next month.
Yeah, hit that follow button. We're going to go ahead and have 2 more grinders, 2 more challengers to come out and play. We'll have to go ahead and figure out what that match is going to be, but you can bet that next month there's going to be more Legacy action.
Yeah. So thanks so much to Josh Monks, Miles Wallio for participating, being our challengers tonight.
The Wingstop.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the food.
For Brawlers buy.
Yeah, that's what
is
happens.
our rule.
Yeah.
Brawlers buy dinner for everyone. And then, of course, thanks to Calvin, Sam, Jeremy, Adam, and Brian and Jake for making tonight possible. Any last words there, Jordan?
Everyone out here? Did Jeremy accept?
Oh, I don't.
Jeremy accept? Is that
We
what I
don't know.
heard?
There's also Legacy 1K at the end of this month
Okay.
at Mox Boarding House.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Cool.
People know about that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
There's also one at the beginning of next month at
Oh, Geek Fortress.
Geek
Yeah,
Fortress.
yeah. I don't know if he accepted yet.
5-year
He
anniversary.
knows that he's been challenged.
Well, he just said to me like we're kind of gonna play next month, so I'm like,
Oh.
Sounds like
that
Jeremy
is
accepted.
Pretty
yeah,
insane.
Wow.
he's still a little tentative.
All right,
He's
Brian.
like,
Give us a little
it's a
taste of the
yes.
preview. Give us a little preview. What can we expect out of the Brian Bennett
I think
camp?
we're gonna see the Sneak and Show deck.
Sneak and show?
The
See, I
Sneak and
kinda-
Show
I kinda
deck.
wanna mind game him and
All right.
no combo.
I'm gonna be honest, man. If I were to play against Brian Bennett, here's the 3 decks that I would think about:
Go ahead.
Allurin, Sneak and Show, and Buck Delver. And the reason why is he qualified for the last Invitational on Allurin. Yeah, you don't know that, but he did.
Okay.
He's pro
Delver
SNS.
Master.
Yeah, pro SNS. And on top of that, the deck that he played before he switched to combo, the last fair deck that he played was Bug Delver. Him to Torok and Liliana the Veil. And it's one of those things where I don't keep track of notes and stuff like that, but I remember what deck you play. I'll remember.
Is that 'cause I
And I'll
got
put you
the,
on it.
the 4 Wasteland on you the one time?
All right,
yeah,
folks.
Yeah, that was so stupid. You wasted it 4 times. Oh, all your Mistress Factories. Great. Oh, yeah, I can't even win.
He tried to draw it out. He was playing land still. He played the Volk. I was like, oh, Wasteland. He's like, I got you. Mistress Factory. And I'm like, oh, Wasteland. It's like, motherfucker.
You wasted
Play or
enemies
something,
4
another
times.
Mistress Factory.
4 times. That's not even cool. That's
All
not
right,
even
folks. For Michael Tessier, Jordan Isaka, and all the other guys here tonight, thanks so much for watching, joining us for another great night of Legacy action. Really appreciate it, and we'll catch you next month.
Go Mariners. Boo Astros. Boo Dodgers.